Hey everybody, welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave. As an extended edition of our Lord of the Rings reunion podcast, we are now going to sit through the Fellowship of the Rings extended edition because we have nothing better to do with our time. My name is Bina007. I'll be one of the people wittering over the movie as we go. I am joined today by Shellfish.
There's Shellfish on the forums.
By Adam.
This is Adam, DrownedSnow on the forums.
By Varley.
Varley on the forums. Matt in real life.
By Nadia.
Hi everyone, this is Nadia.
And by Paul.
Hey guys, this is Paul, Sir Dinner on the forums.
So for those of you who want to watch at home with us wittering on, I can't imagine why you would want that as an experience. But if you should so do, you should be watching the extended edition, which has a runtime of 3 hours 48 minutes. And we're going to say 3, 2, 1, play, and then try and sync up and play on the play. So is everyone ready to go? Excellent.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do this shit.
Let's do this shit. Right. 3, 2, 1, play. Right. 3, 2, 1, play.
We're all seeing the new line.
Yeah.
Spinny in the new line.
Do new lines still exist? You don't see that much.
I think so.
That's a good
Time
question.
Warner Company.
Some of this stuff may have been rebranded. I don't know.
Ah, the font. This makes me happy.
I know, right?
Time for
Very
some elvish
nostalgic.
whispers.
It just makes me feel reassured.
Ugh. Kate Blanchett talk me to sleep every night.
But how does the non-extended one start? Does it start the same way as this?
It starts the same way.
Yeah.
I believe the whole prologue is included in the theatrical.
Yeah.
Did you all go and watch this in the cinema the first time it came out?
Fuck yeah, I did.
I was 4.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I saw it a few
Yeah,
months
so-
after it came out on my birthday.
So randomly, I
was choking on Lego pieces.
What, 16 at the time? I hadn't
Yeah.
read the books.
I
I
was
didn't even know what these movies were. But I was working at a Best Buy, and I'd work for 3 or 4 hours, and I'd wait for my parents to come get me. And sometimes they'd come 5 hours later and get me. So I was bored. I'd go to the mall next door, and I saw this. I'm like, we watch a movie. And yeah, did not realize how long it would be.
man.
I watched it with my friends the first time and we had no idea what it was about. But I remember the scene she said with the statues when they're going down the river.
The
What's it
Argonaut.
called?
The Argonaut? Argonaut?
The Argonaut, exactly. And that was just kind of like the scene that hooked me. I was
That's
like, I
when you
have to read
realize,
these books.
yeah, it's when you realize it has this beautiful world that's rich.
Yeah, I was a sophomore
Yeah.
in college when this came out, so
Oh no, I remember it was actually before work. They dropped me off 3 hours early because everything was on their schedule, not mine. So I got a car as quickly as I could, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just see a movie to kill time." And I ended up being an hour late for work. That's what it was, because I didn't know how long the damn movie was going to be.
Have you all ever seen the extended edition in the
Oh,
cinema?
this shot is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
did it-
remember the CGI blew me away. It still kind of holds up, but it looks a little dated.
The
I think it
Gollum
holds
stuff
up
is
better.
Yeah, the
pretty good
prosthetic
still.
works are better than these CGI ones.
This will hold up better than The Hobbit, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
The Hobbit's
Oh,
hot
yeah.
garbage.
In many, many ways.
Look at those shields. Elrond being all kick-ass.
I remember being like, "Agent Smith."
Such perfect casting of Hugo Weaving.
But those shields and that armor is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right?
Look,
What a
Nadia, they're
workshop
wearing
still.
helmets.
Isildur's
I know,
helmet is
right?
so
But
But
beautiful.
Elrond isn't.
Like Isildur and Elendil's armor is probably the best costumes in these films.
Definitely.
Like the one that I would like to have.
You don't think Sauron right here is badass?
Yeah, but you're not going to
Oh,
wear
It's
it.
a little monotone.
I do like how you
I
kind
don't know,
of see
guys. Sam's wardrobe is
an
pretty
evolution
fire.
of the armor for the Men of the West. They all have wings on their helms in this one, but then later on we only see the Citadel Guard has wings on theirs,
Mm.
Yeah.
while the rest of Gondor decide to look like chess pieces.
Isildur.
I like the natural features of the elvish armor that looks like leaf blades and like
Yeah, the organic.
yeah.
So gnarly, this scene.
I always thought that one elf was headbanging.
I just love all the pennants, like the flags and everything. It's so beautiful.
So was this where the dead marshes would end up being?
I think so.
Yeah, I think this was on the slopes of Mount Doom, as Galadriel
Yeah.
said.
Ah. So they're right inside Mordor. So what was the dead marshes?
That was the Dagor Lad. That was like the great battle
Yeah.
to get into Mordor.
Yeah, but it's the same campaign though, so you were close.
Gotcha.
Because in the books, isn't there also like a siege of Barad-dûr that lasts like a few years?
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I think that was the culmination of it, that scene.
So who are these dudes attacking Isildur?
They're just mountain orcs.
Orcs, right?
It's in the Gladden Fields, so near Mirkwood, I guess.
It must be during wintertime because it looks pretty gray and kind of yucky.
Yeah, they went for it with the color timing on this, didn't they? Oh, the ring
Yeah.
is gone! Trixie ring! Why wouldn't the
I'm
ring...
surprised he could float so well in armor.
Why wouldn't it
Yeah.
want to be on Isildur? Why does the ring want to betray him? Because
A
Isildur's
little
so powerful.
revenge.
Yeah,
Uh, so-
like you just killed my master.
Or maybe it wanted to go to the orcs, just that were just right there.
So when Sauron dies, does he immediately go into the ring like a Horcrux?
I think there's like a respawn time.
No. I think it's more like what happened to Voldemort. Like he just turned into like smoke. Not smoke exactly. He wasn't corporeal anymore.
Yeah.
Like his spirit was there, but he didn't have a physical form.
In the
I don't
books,
know why,
I think
but
it's
He
like,
didn't exactly go into the ring.
Isn't there a line coming in this scene, like whispers of a nameless fear, that kind of gives an impression of what Sauron became?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has that one scene where like they make ripples in the water, which I thought was like super effective for like being what it was.
I'm not sure if it already came or if it...
No, it's coming up.
yeah.
Kate Blanchett. Just talk to me.
Now for the creepy part of the
Yeah, this.
podcast.
She has really good bookshelves. You know when you see everyone being interviewed in their homes, whenever you see her interviewed, she has amazing library bookshelves.
That's what I admire most about Kate Blanchett, her bookshelves.
Yeah, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Her perfect perky bookshelves.
Filled with quite extremist left-wing literature, by the way. But, you know.
Like philosophy or like
Yeah, like hardcore philosophy and economic books. I mean,
Oh.
yeah, like
Ah.
really, really good bookshelves. I'll send you guys a pic.
Bilbo looks good
Academics
here.
Bookshelves.
From Venus
R.I.P.
Celebrity Bookshelves
Yeah.
folder.
R.I.P. in home.
Fortunes.
Fortune. I love the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just moved the office from the nursery where we had it, like since we moved in, down to our sunroom. And like there's this big blank wall behind the computer that's just begging for a like Middle Earth map to be framed and hung above it. What just happened?
Yeah, I just love hobbit holes.
You know that they have
Another
like
nasty
whole
dirty hole.
Airbnbs.
Oh, I love this house so much. A house with just books on every surface.
Exactly.
A nice
I like
wood
the clutter.
fire and beautiful flowers and just
Papers just strewn everywhere.
it's like the ideal home office. That's how I imagine myself working.
And all
from
the
home.
time in the world to read.
Yeah, and just eat cheese and drink
Post
beer.
capitalist.
Nice garden outside.
What are all those black books? They look like law books.
Oh, they're probably like
The Oxford English Dictionary.
Elvish references and.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Kate Blanchett's bookshelves.
Oh.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
And just like naturally beautiful.
Yes.
I went here in New Zealand and it's so cool.
Like, I want to grow nasturtiums that big. Why can't I do that?
That's a massive pig.
Well,
It probably
it's a
just looks
normal-sized pig.
big. Yeah, next to a hobbit.
I wish my handwriting looked like that.
Meghan Markle's handwriting looks like that. She's got the most contrived handwriting I've ever seen.
I would send so many letters if I had decent handwriting.
That's what I want to do. I want to drink beer and smoke pipe weed all day. Like, why can't I do that?
What's stopping you?
You're not a hobbit.
My fucking
Game
job.
are they playing?
My
You
wife,
need to
my
be a
child.
trust fund kid to do that.
Otherwise, you got to be a gardener like Sam.
Yeah.
Look how young
Hey,
Sam
my
is.
gardening is impressive, I'll tell you.
The party tree.
I did kind of not like that they didn't put the tent over the tree like
I
they do in the
know.
books. But what are you going to do?
In real life, I mean, that tree is as big as it looks. It's enormous.
Everything is so green and good and wholesome.
Hmm
I like how it's like green outside and then like a rich gold inside.
Sepia tinted.
Well-
And it's very cluttery, so it's relatable.
Every time I watch these movies, I'm like, how hard is it to move to New Zealand?
Yeah. You know, they have like 0 cases of COVID.
It's beautiful
And,
where
like,
this
they
is.
don't let people in.
It's just basically farmland with lots of horse stables.
Oh, I thought this was a national park.
No, it's a
Like-
private
farmland.
farmer's farmland, so he's making a fortune.
Oh my god.
But the level of detail is amazing. Like, they showed us this one hobbit house and said that because the washing line was there, that they made some set extra every day walk down to put washing on it to kind of trample the grass in the way it would be trampled
Huh.
before they filmed, for like a month before filming.
A few months ago, I read these diaries that Ian McKellen wrote during the filming of these films. They were
Any
quite
good?
interesting. It was like a blog.
Oh.
It was
Anything
kind of,
revealing? Anything
no,
juicy?
just kind of like day in the life kind of stuff, but kind of
Woke up.
wholesome.
Went to make up, had a cup of tea.
He's
Yeah,
like best
praising his
friend with
co-workers
Sir-
and stuff.
He's best mates with Sir Patrick Stewart, which I think is really cute.
I love those too.
I love Patrick Stewart's been reading Shakespearean sonnets. Like, I love they use practical effects, like false
Yeah.
perspective, to make the Hobbit seem smaller.
Yeah, the amount of like false perspective shots they have put in is like very like fascinating.
Yeah.
So that washing line, can you see there's like a tread
Yeah.
path to it?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just little
Very
touches
impressive.
like that make it look all... But it looks exactly like this when you go. It's amazing. But not as sunny, because New Zealand basically has the climate of England, which isn't that great.
Just opposite. Just opposite times.
Hmm But Auckland's stunning. It's one of the nicest places I've been to. If it weren't so bloody far from everything, I'd go and live there.
Yeah. 16-hour flight does not sound interesting to me at all.
25 hours to get home. I felt like
Ugh.
I'd been through Thursday midnight about 4 times before I finally...
Do you fly over the North Pole?
No, you go... Well, I did it a weird one. So I did Auckland to Sydney, Sydney to Dubai, Dubai to London.
Oh.
Because I had a round-the-world ticket. I'd gone London to LA for work, then LA to Sydney, then I did Sydney to New Zealand for work, and then did a day trip here, and then kind of made my way back. All in 11 days. Those were the days,
Wow.
eh? When being
So you
active,
probably
so-
spend more time on a plane than you did on like actual land.
Yep. I did more nights on a plane than in hotels. because like the flight from LA to Sydney was overnight. But between that, Nadia, I got 2 days off, and so don't feel too sorry for me. The one day I got off, I went in New Zealand to Hobbiton, and the other day I got off, I went to the Cricket World Cup final in Melbourne.
Ooh,
So
that's cool.
it was awesome. It was such a good trip.
Was this the England New Zealand one?
No, it was the
last one?
I saw the last one, but that was in England.
That was.
I've got a good story
right.
about that, Nadia.
Yeah.
I made my husband leave before the final over, so we didn't see England win.
This guy is so good.
I thought it was going to go to a draw. He still hates me.
Oh, it should have been a draw.
New Zealand should have won it
Well,
blatantly.
we can discuss exactly, but we can discuss that after the movie.
Yeah. We can not annoy everyone. These kids are so cute as well. Hobbit kids are
Yeah.
the cutest.
One of them is Peter Jackson's kid.
Fireworks, Gandalf.
I love how to them
Aww.
he's just like this cute little grandpa.
I'll always prefer Gandalf the Grey over Gandalf the White.
Yeah, he's more
Oh,
roguish.
yeah. Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree.
Because he has a hat. Gandalf
And a
doesn't
scarf.
have one.
And a hood.
He's more like Dumbledore when he's Gandalf the Grey.
How did he not get cast to play Dumbledore? He would have been such a good Dumbledore.
I know.
Well, Richard Harris made a really good Dumbledore, but he died.
He did. He
Yeah.
did. He was amazing.
Do you know it was
So they
years
kept-
before I realised that Jared Harris was Richard Harris's son?
It
And
also took me
Jared
a surprising
Harris's
amount
son
of
is
time.
someone too, right? Doesn't he have an actor son?
Who?
Jared
Jared
Harris.
Harris, his son, I believe, is an actor as
Oh,
well.
really?
So
Gosh. That always would piss me off, because shouldn't it be no admission except on party business?
Ah,
They speak differently in Hobbiton.
Yeah.
Mm. So cute. Also, I love his staff. Like Gandalf the Grey has this very like gnarly organic tree staff, which I think
Yeah.
is weird.
yeah,
Yeah, and it's
especially
all
compared
like-
to Saruman's.
the white staff is like too
His
contrived.
hair's all messy.
Yeah.
He remembers who he is. He's got a better hat.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like a Hobbit design staff. The other one's like an IKEA design staff.
But I think that's sort of a kind of an implication that Gandalf is kind of enjoying himself a little too much in his Gandalf the Grey guise, and he's not really doing his job. And when he becomes Gandalf the White, it just sort of goes to work more.
I don't know. I think after the Battle of Five Armies, he gets to like rest on his laurels for a little bit. They drove out the Necromancer, you know? So party in Hobbiton a little bit.
I mean, a lot of what he does, anyway, is just travel around and hang out with people, make connections.
Apparently, that head bump wasn't scripted. It just happened, and they kept it.
Oh, I love this little parlor.
Apple on the
Wait,
mantle.
is Kanye West
just in
running
case.
for president?
Yes.
He tweeted that yesterday.
What?
Mm-hmm. Might as well happen.
Can he do
Yeah.
that? Can he get on the ballots? Is that a thing?
That's what
Well-
I'm curious. Like, what with enough money you could, but like, what does it take to get on the ballot in every state?
Right.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know
He didn't say
how
he's
every
running as a
state-
Republican or a Democrat or anything, really.
He's like
He's just
Donald Trump.
running.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna run for president.
Yeah.
Mhm. This year can't get any weirder. Zach fell back and says,
I love Bilbo's vest. The sort of like the floral motif on it is great. Like I don't know what you would call it. It's not embroidery, but it's sort of like a
almost embossed because it's almost felt. It's like a felt material. I wish I had some cheese in the house. It's very wrong to start watching this film hungry.
All the Hobbit food just looks good.
Yeah.
I think I've got some pakora in the freezer. I might have to put them in the oven.
Ooh.
I'm currently having second breakfast.
There's a YouTuber who does like food from various films and TV shows, and
Oh, binging with Babish?
yeah,
Oh,
binging
yeah,
with
Binging
Babish.
with Babish.
I love that.
Yeah.
And he's doing his Lord of the Rings episodes,
Shut up.
and
That's
he's making like mince pies and lembas, and though it's not actual lembas, he says it's more like cram because he can't make it sweet. But,
Yeah.
like watching it, I'm just like, oh,
I'm getting really into like making lacto fermented shit. So like all this like just easy like wax paper over jars that are better than refrigeration is very interesting to me. Like all the crocks there in the lower right, the pickles.
It just feels so homely and welcoming and warm and gorgeous.
Like the wood paneling and...
Ah, it's damask. It's a damask waistcoat, Peter, so it is embroidered. It's stitched.
Cool. I like it how it's
Yeah.
so similar to the sort of base coat that it's kind of
silk
blends in.
on silk, but you reverse, you make it look matte on shiny by the way you use the stitching. My mum was able to do that actually, weirdly. When she was educated in Kenya, they learned all these really like old school crafts, which is really cool but not practical.
Oh, that looks so pretty.
I want to have a party like that. I swear to Christ, when this whole lockdown is over,
Pipe weed.
I'm gonna have a moot like this.
Big Hobbit party.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite everyone. I'm gonna send
Wouldn't that
everyone
be nice?
tickets, and we're all gonna just smoke weed.
Eat wheels of cheese and smoke.
Yeah.
We're gonna smoke weed.
Totes.
Oh, and the fireworks.
Like, I
design
haven't
was
seen
cool,
the
too.
theatrical version in so long. I forget a lot of times like what's extended and what's not.
I barely even watch the theatrical edition anymore, so it doesn't matter at this
Yeah,
point.
I only watch extended.
Yeah,
I love this
I
music
saw it
so
once
much.
after the theater.
I know,
Pop
right?
my
I
monitor.
love the fireworks, the music.
And even
all
what
of
the
it.
girls are wearing, like those bodices, almost like dirndls, like German folk costumes. I think they're so pretty.
Good wholesome fun.
Yeah. Rosie,
Oh, come on, Sam.
come on, Sam.
Ah, the spears. I love this.
One of my favorite things online is someone has basically done an audio version, like they've read through the entire Lord of the Rings, but they've added like the music from Peter Jackson's films as well as a bunch of great sound effects.
Oh my God, Howard
Like-
Shore rocked this.
And the guy who also reads it is like very good at voices. I can put the link in Skype, but I've been listening to that recently.
Yes,
and it's
please.
so
Yes,
good
please do, please do.
because it's free, I believe.
I hate this introduction of Merry and Pippin.
I love it.
What, like the Three Stooges kind of introduction?
Right, the buffoon.
Wah, wah.
Well, I mean, they're
I think it's
more
kind of
rascally
endearing.
in the films, but I like
Yeah.
it. It's fine.
I think you have to have it so that when you get to the end and you're seeing, you know, Merry and Pippin do very brave deeds, that you have to
Yeah.
see where they've come from. You know, you've got to see that they were just the rascals, and I love it.
Hashtag Where's my
Yeah,
fatty?
but they're actually very different in the books. Like, it's surprising how exaggerated their characters are in the movies.
But I think we needed it. Like a 4-hour runtime, you've got to have some comic.
Yeah, exactly. You need to push the
Yeah.
story forward.
Like there are a bunch of things where I'm like, oh yeah, the books had this, but at the same time, that's no real knock against the films because in every adaptation, you're gonna have to change stuff.
I mean, Tolkien, his virtues are unbounded, but he wasn't funny.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There are some parts that kind of make me laugh, like when Gandalf's like, oh, and I think that's an encouraging thought, and Frodo's just like, well, I don't. Like, what the hell? You're giving me the super weapon?
Yeah, and I think I said last time, I think like a lot of the best work that the film does in changing things from the book is character work, depth or humor.
Yeah. I mean, Faramir apart, but luckily you won't have to hear me rant about that until the next episode.
One.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that, like, the entire
Faramir
like,
is going to show his quality.
Faramir taking them to West Gilead is one of the things where I'm like, what the hell?
Ooh, I love this firework.
Smell
Dragon.
firework.
Remember when you used to be able to go watch fireworks on the 4th of July? In America?
I was
I
woken
do. I
up
just
yesterday.
looked outside. Everyone and
I
their
have
mother
not
has
had
a
that
legal
experience.
fireworks too.
We have an American
Yeah, me
school
neither.
in our village, and there are lots of Americans in the village, and I had a really early night because I was feeling a bit under the weather, and about like 10 o'clock when it finally got dark, I was woken up by all the fireworks. And then the dogs predictably going ape shit because of all the fireworks.
Yeah, we did not need a show
Fireworks?
around us this year because we had 2 hours nonstop, like all around our neighborhood of like fireworks just everywhere.
Dude,
Wonderful.
our fireworks
We had-
went from like 9 to midnight. Like people were just blasting them off for hours.
I mean, I've read all these articles saying that like fireworks were just like they couldn't keep up with the demand this year.
Yeah. Well, in Boston, the reports of fireworks complaints are up 5,000% from last year.
It was like doing the news last night was so hard because like through the studio walls we could hear just a steady like barrage of fireworks going off. It's like the Battle of Antietam was right outside.
So fireworks at weddings are a thing here. So you see fireworks like all the time.
Oh, that's cool.
I like it.
Yeah. So
I like
This is
yeah,
always
but it can
fun.
get dangerous. Like people they're not exactly careful.
You see, this is kind of funny, Tolkien. The little wordplay there.
Could Biden pick Kanye for his vice president?
Oh, please don't.
God, please. I'm already having having a hard time thinking about voting for Biden. I don't want to make it any harder for me,
Yeah.
please. Please.
I mean, you have to vote for him, but he's clearly not mentally all there, right?
We're voting for his vice president.
Right.
Sure.
That's absolutely right.
Like he'll pull a William Henry Harrison and like after 30 days just
Except he'll pull Henry Harrison without giving a long speech in like a freezing cold rain.
yeah.
There you go.
Someone said that he should select Michelle Obama as the vice president. I was like, no, don't, please.
Get an actual politician.
Yeah, none of this. Well, they're not a politician. It's like, well, would you like your brain surgery performed on you by not a brain surgeon? Just to fix it
Trump
I'm
up?
is not a
really hoping
politician.
he picks Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris would eviscerate Mike Pence on a debate stage.
Mhm.
Well, they can't be in the same room
He
together
really
alone.
does need to
So
get moving
that's
on
one
the
thing.
VP pick, though.
Mike Pence, oh my god.
I love how Gandalf gets all like headmastery on him. That is
I love how we have those little portraits of Bilbo's parents.
I had
in there.
Gandalf
Parents.
his
same
mom's
belt in
pretty.
8th grade.
Is that Bilbo's parents or is that Frodo's parents?
I think it's Bilbo's parents.
Yeah,
Why
I think so.
would he have Frodo's parents up in the house?
Just because Frodo lives with him and it's just nice. I like his rug too. I really want to live in this house.
The leather binding on the red book is so cool. If I could live in Bag End, you bet your ass I would.
I know.
I want to live in Bag End, but
I'm
I
just
want
like those.
Wi-Fi and a power shower. But other than
Oh yeah, no. Of course we'll include
can
all
really-
the modern amenities.
You can really fall down a rabbit hole on the internet of like the Earth ship houses and stuff. Like some of them look super modern, but some of them they've made like to look like basically a hobbit hole, and it's just amazing.
I'm already saving up my money for it.
Yeah, man. If I'm angry, it's your fault, Gandalf. Come on now.
Ian Holm does legit look quite sinister when he says "my precious,"
Oh yeah.
and I love how
Right?
the perspective up to Gandalf suddenly. Yeah, there you go. Love this.
R.I.P. Ian Holm, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, he was really good in From Hell too when he did his sinister little serial killer thing.
Oh yeah,
Spoilers, Matt. Jeez.
that's one of those.
It's like over
that's
20
one of my
years
first-
old.
one of my
I know.
first Blu-ray
I'm
movies,
mocking
actually.
myself.
I like how the magic in Tolkien is kind of more subtle than in a lot of other fantasy, like that little
Yeah.
sort of illusion he did there.
Yeah.
It's more like blurred. Like there's no real like rules to the magic that you can understand.
Yeah, it's a little sort of hidden influence.
Yeah. Because no one really has magic except for like Gandalf and the elves. And the dwarves, I guess, technically.
Well, don't the elves say it's just that you can't comprehend what we're doing, and so it seems magical?
Yeah.
Peons.
Like how Tolkien says hobbits have magic, but it's everyday magic where they can just disappear when they want to.
When the big folk are around.
Fucking big folk.
Elon Musk has endorsed Kanye.
Yeah.
That's that's theming. Mm-hmm. It's basically my perspective. Definitely, I start a statement and then I just kind of give up on it.
Yeah.
And that was the only time that the ring bearer voluntarily gave up the ring, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, because I suppose Frodo didn't at the end. Huh.
No, it was taken from him.
So props to Bilbo.
Do you think that's because Bilbo never used it very much, so maybe it didn't have as much power over him?
But he used it all the time for 60 years, right?
Well, not all the time. He just kind of had it on him. I think he used it fairly sparingly.
He wasn't going invisible every Sunday for tricks and shits, right? I mean, I think he used it very infrequently.
Yeah, he's not like Gollum where he was eating people.
You don't know. Maybe he was using it to spy on people and gain information. I don't know.
He might have been eating people.
We don't know what's in his larder.
I will say one of my favorite kind of fun little musings on the internet is if there's a statute in Hobbit law, because when Bilbo first went away and then was presumed dead but then came back, they're okay, well, you need a body to declare someone dead, and so when Bilbo just leaves the second time, they can't legally declare him dead.
Yeah, well, he left a note and all that, but I feel like you don't. I don't know what the Hobbit rules are, but you just need some thirsty Sackville Bagginses to be mine.
Well, no, because the inheritance is signed by 7 people, and Frodo has to produce that, and then they're foiled again.
I think Odo snaps his fingers under Frodo's nose. Anyway.
Yeah.
I should do that more. I should do that more often with people I don't like.
Which pisses off Sam or Mary. Yeah.
One of the ones helping him pack.
Oh,
Gandalf is so careful not to touch the ring.
Cut your fingernails. Okay, so fingernails is a big thing in this movie for me. Frodo's nails are disgustingly short,
Yeah.
and Gandalf's are disgustingly long.
How do you guys feel about Frodo's casting?
I don't hate it.
Elijah Wood does fairly well with it.
I mean, I just don't really know how to imagine someone else in it because I'm just so used to seeing him.
Yeah.
Because they obviously went for someone who looks very innocent, whereas Frodo is more of an older gentleman in the books. But I think it works.
In the books.
Yeah. I think having a younger actor is better. I mean, for a Hobbit, he is, younger, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, when you have, a 50, 60-year-old person playing the role, I don't know if it would have worked quite the same.
I mean, who else would have been Frodo? Gyllenhaal or something, or who?
I think also
I think
Elijah Wood has
an older character, an older actor instead, reflecting Frodo's actual age.
I love the
but that would have been weird.
Corpse light.
This is great.
Design.
The Nazgul are so cool.
The 9 have left Minas Morgul.
The music is so awesome.
I know, Howard Shore did just awesome.
This is our first look at Minas Tirith also.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine whoever the bottle makers were.
What is this city?
Yes, bring this large open torch into this room of dusty tomes.
Right. Those things don't look flammable at all, right?
Yeah, and smoke while you're doing it. Thanks, Gandalf. These are ancient manuscripts, almost 1,000 years old.
He's got magic to put out fires. Come on, Paul.
Why does he have a crystal ball? What is that?
Isn't it a vial of some sort?
This is
Is it
such
just
cool
some
library.
water to drink while he's doing
It's book oil. Everyone knows you need oil for your books.
Keep the
it? Wiki
binding
hinges
subtle.
and all that.
Oh, this is so good for building tension. This ominous muttering.
You have the chanting music.
Only fire.
So that's
You
a
see-
very tiny dog.
True. Maybe it's just a puppet.
If it's a hobbit, that's a tiny dog.
What is dripping down on the hooves of the horse? Is that blood? I
I
never.
think it's like mud or water.
I think it's meant to be blood.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be.
They look kind of sickly and evil, the horses.
And do the horses have red eyes? Because I always thought I saw like.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Like the horse at the Denver airport.
This is an extended scene. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I love this song.
Oh
Feel
man,
my
all we
heart and drown
fucking
my
sing
woe.
at the bars now is "Don't Stop
Fucking
Believing"
chase
and
that.
shit like that. Remember when you used to be able to smoke in bars? Of course you can't. No, you guys are too young.
I just
So-
want to be one of those old guys at the pub. You know what I mean? Like, how do I get there?
There's giants about.
This is basically a scary portrait of Brexit Britain. All strange people about the village.
Or
like how they're-
that sounds great.
They're selling pipe weed behind the bar too. There's just that bushel of hanging dried tobacco.
She knows I'm an idiot.
Sean Astin, do you age?
It's his time. His time down here.
He is the MVP of this. He's so perfectly cast. I cannot imagine anyone else as Sam.
Yeah, he is pretty good. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, I feel like him and Gandalf are obviously the two that I don't think I could ever see anyone else doing.
I would also say though, like, again, this is probably because like this is how it's always been and this is how it will always be. But like, John Rhys Davies is like Gimli.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to picture someone else.
Yeah.
And specifically, Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn.
Ooh, he was the last
I
minute.
could definitely
Aragorn.
picture different Legolas though.
I could actually picture a different
I
Legolas. Sorry,
think
Orlando
even,
Bloom.
I think even Orlando Bloom can picture a different Legolas.
I think it's like so long as you have like a pretty person, you can be like, oh yeah, that's Legolas.
Yeah.
What the-
Not that
what
like
I-
Orlando Bloom is terrible, but you
Yeah.
know.
What I didn't like
Yeah.
about this scene is that we're supposed to believe that Frodo never wore the ring since it was packed up.
Well, so like in the book, I mean, it's like months go by, right?
Years.
But I mean,
No, it's 17 years.
or,
17
Not
years.
17,
Yeah.
right? 17?
yeah.
That was
So
11.
here we're supposed to believe like Gandalf like jaunted off and came back a week later, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well,
In
he went to
reality-
Minas Tirith, so, but I don't know how. Well, for the first-time viewer, I suppose you might think it was only a few weeks or something, but the journey takes
Well, just-
like half a year or something like that.
No, I know, but just the way the movie shows it, like if you're a movie audience,
Oh, yeah.
and seeing nothing else, like that looks like, you know, he went down the road, found something, came back. Like there's no indication of any sort of passage of time.
True.
Yeah. But in a way, I don't wonder if the movie even cares. I mean, the movie compresses so much of this timeline.
Yeah, I mean, does it really matter if it takes like 17 years or 6 months? I mean, it doesn't change the story.
Yeah, it doesn't, because at the
But
end
it
of the day,
allows-
the actual story only takes place over like 3/4 of a year.
No, isn't it an entire year from when they return to the
Yeah, I think it's 1 year.
Prancing Pony?
Yeah.
Maybe, I think so, because he sets off on September the 22nd, and then the ring is destroyed in like late March.
Which is like 6 months after this conversation in the books, though, right?
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
then
he
there's
directs
all of
like
pretty
the
quick amount
like
of time.
return journey, and then scouring of the Shire. So
one cool thing about Lord of the Rings Online is they've recently come out with a Midsummer Festival in which you finally get to attend the wedding of Aragorn and Arwen and help out with like the wedding
nice.
preparations. You get to witness the feast, and you get to like
You're like, my level 30 elf was there.
yeah, basically, yeah,
Guys, I'll be back. I have to go get the baby.
baby.
Matt's baby's so cute. Elijah Wood hasn't aged though, has he?
I can't think of the last time I saw him in something. Though.
He's
I watched
scruffier.
what Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency on Netflix, and he's pretty young looking in that. It's a few years old.
Oh yeah, he's still fairly young looking. I mean, he's only 39.
Well, that would lead them here. Rah! That's quite scary.
Like how the Nazgul just straight up kill a hobbit in this version. While in like the rest, they're just kind of walking around going, "Hey, have you seen this guy?"
yeah, I feel like in the books the Nazgul were actually very
They're more
restrained when they
tactful.
came to the Hobbit. When they came to Hobbiton.
Yeah, like
Yep.
one has like a talk with the gaffer.
Yeah, which is weird. Which is weird
Very
when you think about
menacing
it.
talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're sort of weak enough that the brandy bucks can sort of drive them away when they go to Buckland with fire and horns and stuff like that.
I don't think they drive them away. I think it's mostly like the Nazgul don't want to get held down for too long, because they have to find the ring. But the Horn Call of Buckland scene in the books is actually pretty, like, in that rendition I just posted in Skype, like, it's actually kind of chilling when they attack Crick Hollow.
So when does he put the ring on a chain if it's currently just in his pocket?
I
When does
think, like, in the movies, like, he finds it on a chain in Rivendell or something.
that- Oh, okay.
I think they rechain it though in Rivendell in the books too. I don't know. I don't know who they trust to put the chain on it though.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
Speaking of chains, one thing Game of Thrones made me wonder is where are the book chains in this world?
I ain't dropping no weaves, sir.
Like, was Gandalf's idea to knock a Nazgul on the head?
It might be effective. We don't really see anyone try to hit a Nazgul with a stick.
Oh, poor hobbits, they're probably still drunk from the night before. Birds. Beasts.
Look out for the evil raccoon, Frodo.
I'm a sucker for a field with flowers like daisies.
Clover.
Yeah, just overgrown lawn.
Yeah.
Look how pretty this is.
Such a... Gosh. Waterfall.
I know. It's just also pretty.
Mountains. Hills.
Pastoral paradise.
So New Zealand looks like that just without the hills. They're just painted in.
That's fine.
It's very flat.
I still envy a high school friend of mine who spent a year abroad in New Zealand for college, and she talks about just how every other weekend they just go out hiking.
I mean, in fairness, you can do that in LA too, right?
Oh, but it's not the same.
Sort of.
I don't live in LA. I live in central Illinois, which is there's nowhere to hike.
So
sure.
Now when you go to the podcast device and forums page, it just goes to like a PHPBB site.
Yeah, and it says there's like 69% more Manwoody.
So weird.
But I can't sign in. Nothing's there. Like it's been like that since yesterday.
But it's better than the this page doesn't exist sort of weird ass page. So that feels like something is happening.
Progress, maybe?
I don't know. My assumption is that Mimi's just decided not to fund it anymore.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh, this music is so beautiful.
But it's weird they haven't said anything.
Have they released any blogs on the official site since the forums went down?
Oh, good question. Let me check.
I like
There was
the
one that went up
elvish
like
light.
the day the forums went down, but
There's sort of a
The
cool...
official site isn't working either.
yeah. See, the main site was working, the forums weren't, and then it all went down.
Yeah.
So do we know why? Did they really stop paying, or do we have to support anything?
Sleeping on the ground like that must be so uncomfortable.
In the books, doesn't he say something about having a root in his back the
Yeah.
entire night?
Oh, that's so pretty.
Such a great shot.
Evil horsey. I suppose the horsies aren't themselves evil, but, you know.
Adopted by the wraiths.
The tree garth of Isengard.
It's kind of a strange place to build a tower, because it's in a valley, so you can't really see much from the top of it.
Yeah.
Well, it guards the pass.
Oh, okay.
It Isengards the pass.
Oh.
His staff is so evil.
Christopher Lee. His tower is so evil. Like, it was made by the men of Numenor. Well, why the hell did they make it so fucking creepy looking?
Very
not?
pretty trees, though.
Very pretty trees.
Yeah, not for much longer.
Christopher Lee is so awesome. Your love of
Such a big
half-elf
Tolkien
leaf.
fan.
You're such a pot smoker. I love it.
So do you think like the black streak going down his beard and like all that's kind of intentional?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I assume it used to be white.
I
But
like
he
that
is-
Gandalf has a nice glass of wine.
But he is the white, right? Saruman.
Yeah.
Already, yeah.
Yeah.
They never go with Saruman of many colors in the movies. Which is a bummer, because that robe sounded cool.
But I think his robe is
The
sort of
Technicolor
kind
dream
of
coat.
kind of dirty and soiled on purpose on the movies.
Yeah.
I think Christopher Lee could have been a good Gandalf as well. I mean, and he was just such a champion of Tolkien.
Yeah.
I've never seen him play a good guy.
Which is ironic, right? Because in life, he was such a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Bit like David Niven, these actors who are great
Trying to think.
war heroes, but never talk about it because that would be just far too crass.
Gandalf saw a bit of Saruman's browser history there.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to be right back. I need to put some munchies in the oven.
He's like so sly right here. I'm just closing all the doors.
But he does make such a good villain. Like Christopher Lee is
Oh, he's wonderful.
so good.
Gaunt and sinister. Or tall, not long.
Old person fight.
I'm back.
There's no like actual fight in the books, right? Like, doesn't Saruman just have his servants throw Gandalf on top of the tower?
Yeah, this is so much more effective.
Gandalf never busts out the telekinetics on the orcs though.
Yeah, true. Why not?
I don't know, would it like reveal himself too much or something like that? Show his hand.
Does Saruman know that Gandalf has the ring? Like, which one is it? Which one does Gandalf? The Ring of Fire. Yeah. Does Saruman know that he has it?
I don't think he does. I think it's sort of meant to be hidden from Saruman.
Yeah, because the Ring of Fire was originally
Círdan.
which Círdan? Yeah, and he gave it to Gandalf, right? So
yeah, which is weird because he's like a shipbuilder.
Shipbuilder,
like, here's
yeah.
the Ring of Fire.
Why would a shipbuilder have a Ring of Fire? But yeah.
It's just like, here, Gandalf, it doesn't fit my aesthetic.
Yeah, but it's not like common knowledge that Gandalf has the ring, right?
Yeah. Like, all that elven rings are technically hidden. Like, when Galadriel has, like, her ring, like, only Frodo can see it. Like, Sam can't see.
So that's the water one?
Galadriel's is...
And what about the one Elrond has?
Adamant, but it signifies water, and then I believe air is Elrond's.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't really think that carrots and like cabbages are worth stealing.
Come on, Mary.
Yeah, I know.
Pippin, you're the son of two of the richest and most important people in the Shire, and you're stealing from this poor farmer.
Theft is not always born of necessity.
Yes, Nenya, the Ring of Adamant, was the Ring of Water. And Vilya, the Ring of Sapphire, was the Ring of Air. And apparently it was the mightiest of the three.
Elrond's?
Yeah, Elrond's.
Everyone knows airbenders are the strongest.
Because originally, I guess it was Gil-galad's, but he gave it to Elrond.
William
Yeah,
is
it was
Finnish.
originally Gil-galad's.
With a J though, not a Y.
This is legit scary.
Yeah.
Scene. No music.
But also laughable, because he's looking over the edge and not realizing they're below, and I find that a little bit silly.
Well, they don't exactly have physical form, so I'm guessing like their sense of smell and hearing isn't exactly up to the mark.
Isn't like
so
their eyesight kind of weak, because like Aragorn, when they're like on top of Weathertop in the books, I think he's like, I don't want us to be seen. And they're like, by the Nazgul? He's like, well, by any of their spies, the Nazgul can't see very well.
And the Hobbits have a stealth bonus as well.
It's sort of like the trope too, where like, you know, someone walks into a room, but like someone's like they're up in the ceiling, so they don't see them. And I'm like, man, I walk into the room, I see the entire fucking ceiling. You know, so I don't know.
I like how the whole forest is sort of menacing looking here, all bare trees and stuff, not green anymore.
Yeah.
What'd I miss?
Various menacing looking horses.
Missed hashtag not my farmer maggot.
I do love how they're like instantly down, you know? Like, okay, I know how we get out of here. I guess they don't know what they're up against yet to really be too afraid of it, but...
I like how you can still hear the pots and pans, like over all the music and everything. You can still hear that the pots and pans are there.
I got a solar lantern like those. Put it in my front garden. Looks awesome.
I find that quite... yeah.
I love the top little hole and then the bottom one for hobbits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very Wizard of Ozzy, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a horse of a different color.
Come on in.
I think it's like such a pathetic excuse for like a guardhouse. It's like, what's your business? I'm not telling you. All right, come in then. Like, what was the point?
Well, he's only armed with a raincoat anyway.
And a lantern. Peter Jackson. Eating carrot.
It's a very bright carrot.
Oh,
I like in the books how like Sam is actually scared of how big the houses are.
Yeah, he's suspicious of everything outside the Shire.
Like, to be fair, it's the first time any of them have left Hobbiton, right?
True.
So.
The Shire. They've left Hobbiton before.
The Shire, right, sorry.
Good casting for Butterbur.
Yeah, but they kind of killed his character.
Oh yeah, well you can't linger too long on Butterbur.
And also,
He'll steal the scene.
Where's what's his name?
Nibs.
Bob and Nibs.
Yeah, the books sort of give a image that there's some fire in the folk in Bree and in Hobbiton and Shire.
Mhm.
Like they have some sort of courage and stuff like that. But there's no time for that in the movie.
Yeah, there's one line where it's like the men left for Numenor and came back, and the men from Bree were still there, or something. They just endure. They've
been there since like the first stage.
Chill out, Sam.
Pretty evil
Stop being the
looking
responsible
black
adult,
pat on that
Sam.
counter as well.
Paint.
I think it's creepier that one guy just has like a weasel on him. They certainly make the prancing pony out
It's
to
my
be
boy.
more sinister in the movies than it is in the books.
Yeah.
In the books, I think it's probably more like more like Hobbiton.
Yeah, it's more comforting. Like they get plenty of good food. Butterburs. Like if you need anything, let me know.
Like,
That's some
Strider,
OG Kush she's smoking.
So this is the only bit that really like annoys me, or not annoys me, but in retrospect ruins it a little bit for me. Is obviously at some point Peter Jackson told everyone to use Irish accents, and then they realised that that wasn't sustainable, so they switched to English. So you see that a bit with Eowyn as well. Like at times she's doing something Irish, and then it soon calms down. It's the same with Aragorn. Like he's trying to be Irish here.
So
maybe that's his sinister voice.
Yeah.
So Frodo just got a whole bunch of flop sweat while fiddling with a ring in his fingers, same as Bilbo during his speech.
His nails
probably
are
very
so
warm in there.
uncomfortably short, Matt. You were right.
Don't they look like they're just painful every time he cuts them?
Strider doesn't miss anything.
Oopsie poopsie.
What do you guys think about this effect? The way they did the world when he's like
The Shadow World?
I do like
Yeah.
the Shadow World,
like it.
except when like Sauron just appears. Because like, can
But I
you
mean, like
imagine?
in The Hobbit, there was no indication of anything like this, right?
Well, yeah, there's no indication that. Well, it is like a shadowy world when he does put on the ring, and then like everything is darker and muted, and like you can see more. I believe. You
Yeah,
can
because
see
Bilbo
more,
goes
like,
invisible, and he's basically just invisible.
yeah.
No one's going to say anything about the big guy, like just picking up the little guy and throwing him into a bedroom.
Suggestive.
They know you don't mess with Rangers, man. They're shady.
Fingerless gloves, so he looks like a bad guy.
Or he's ready to play the piano.
I think it's fair to say it took him a while to settle into the role.
So glad Pippin just has a bar stool with him.
Hey. Any port in the story.
At least Mary brought fire, right?
Yeah, Mary brought fire. Sam just has his fists.
It's a pretty crappy gate.
Pippin
Well, I
was
don't
in the Hobbit Wrestling League, so he brought a chair.
Yeah, what kind of gate just falls like that?
A very poorly made one.
Yeah, exactly. And not a very effective one.
Why is the barkeep like down at the bar, like hiding? What the heck?
It's where he
Yeah,
sleeps.
he sleeps under the bar, apparently.
That's where his bed is. It's got a little cot down there with an alarm clock.
Yeah, he's got to be ready to receive any new visitors at any hour, right?
Mm-hmm. always blows my mind though that clocks are a thing in Middle Earth, because like there is a clock in Bilbo's house in Fellowship of the Ring.
Is there?
Yeah,
And he has a pocket watch, right? Somebody has a pocket watch? Why do I remember this?
I don't recall a pocket watch, but like
Yeah, that room didn't have a view of the river.
Bilbo is supposed to have left the ring on the mantelpiece next to the clock.
I like how they're all sleeping in the same bed, Willy Wonka style.
Like those lazy grandparents.
I've got a golden ring.
That couldn't possibly work. What's that? The One Ring? Let me do a dance.
That's actually one of my favourite all-time films, the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, it's a great film.
Yeah.
But
Oh my god, we were just talking to
Grandpa's
someone
totally
who had never seen Young Frankenstein. We're like, what? Gene Wilder's so good in it.
The Fellowship theme came in.
Yep. Even though there's no Fellowship really yet.
Well, we got our main guy now.
Is
The
he
main character.
Is he the main guy, or is that Faramir?
Well, I mean, he's got a bigger sword, so I'd say it's Aragorn.
Oh!
We're gonna see the elves.
Is this where they run into the troll statues, or?
This is
Coming up, they're going to. I think they have to go through the marsh where they say, what do they eat when they don't get hobbits?
Is it after Weathertop? Or?
Oh, it is after Weathertop, isn't it?
I love how the scenery keeps changing all through the 3 movies. It's really well done.
Mm-mm. Right, I need to go get my snacks out of the oven. Back in a
Imagine like the nightmare of a shooting schedule they had to do to get all these different environs.
Yeah, right?
I feel like I should have a roast cooking, or at least like a pot pie.
Yeah, for binging with Babish, I think the stuff he's cooking is supposed to be something that could be eaten at each of the different Hobbit meals of the day.
Light snack.
This is only in the extended edition, right? Where Aragorn sings the Lay of Luthien.
I think so.
Yep.
I'm back. Oh, moody shot thinking of his girlfriend.
No, he's singing the Lay of Luthien, and it's a really sad story, so he's telling Frodo, I think.
But he's also doing it in the context of his current relationship.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's like.
Ooh,
Super sad.
is this the
I
first
could never be with
Palantir
my
shot?
girl.
No, the first one we get is
It was
when
Randy
Gandalf
Gandalf
Wizard, like,
touches it.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
like-
my bad,
yeah.
my bad.
It's the first time we see them using it, but
Yeah.
Gandalf's like, that's dangerous. He's like, maybe to you.
How did Gandalf not see all these orcs?
I know.
They were hiding behind the trees going, shh, be quiet.
Man, he wrecks this place quick.
Yeah, I mean, how could Gandalf miss this much? Like,
Too much pipeweed.
The halfling's leaf has slowed his mind.
It's a sky cell.
The blue is calling to me.
Like, man, that tower's kind of narrow.
I'd say he should demand trial by combat, but he kind of lost that.
You know they could just chop down the trees. They don't have to uproot them.
Yeah, this is...
that wouldn't be destructive
their
enough,
style.
right?
And, like, they excavate, like, tons of earth somehow.
Like Rohan.
It does.
Oh, stupid hobbits. Oh, I've just been carrying around these swords for days, and now I'm just giving them to you.
Yeah, it might
I
be
mean, if they
convenient
had
for you to have
stopped at the
these.
barrows, that would have been like another extra half hour, right? Have the fight, take the
At least.
swords. That's too much.
You can't see every world's largest ball of twine.
Ugh.
I think at some
I
point
mean,
you
are
have
they
to
really
accept-
that stupid?
I think at some point you've got to accept it's a film, not a miniseries, so you can't have a chapter for every single part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tom
First
Bombadil
exposure to Lord of the Rings might have been
also,
a
like,
trailer on TV where it had this scene in it, where Aragorn throws the torch at the camera. I was like, who is that?
I can't wait for Amazon's series to come out.
Their tactics are terrible.
even their shoes are scary, like their boots or whatever.
And then you have to think, you're like, they've got like these like hardcore gauntlets and pointy boots, and underneath the dude's probably just naked, you know? 'Cause it's probably really hot in that robe.
His cod
Frodo's
piece
not
is
a
just
man.
chafing
No
him.
man can kill him.
They look so much like Dementors, don't they?
Dementors look so much like them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know if J.K. Rowling's read Tolkien? Has she talked about him as an influence on her stuff at all?
How could she not?
Isn't it like
Haven't
mandatory
heard it.
reading in England?
You'd be amazed how many kids don't read him. I mean, I think when I was a kid, people read more Narnia than Tolkien.
Well, that's true.
And I think for young kids now, I think J.K. Rowling would be their Tolkien, right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like Tolkien is like high school level, you know.
All right, I need some quick lunch. I'll be right back.
It hates fire.
I will say that when me and my friends had a watch through of these, we had a drinking game where every time Frodo went, "Oh Sam," we'd take a drink, and it was fairly effective.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, this is the shot here where you're like, oh yeah, this is like Denethor running off the edge. Like when I first saw this, I was like, oh, he fended off these creepy creatures, and then like after seeing Return of the King and reading the book and understanding what they are, I'm like, wait, how did he do that?
This is also another one of my really favorite musical cues. The brass and the drums. I think it's so effective.
The Isengard theme.
Yeah, just seeing into this molten industrial revolution.
Treason.
It's so beautifully done.
Almost like a mechanical kind of thump for the drum.
Beautiful
Little
destruction.
butterfly goes up to Gandalf because organic stuff wins over factory-made shit.
Yay!
Yay!
A faint but
I did
fading
enjoy
hope.
taking down.
Is it a butterfly or what is it?
Battle for Middle
It's like a
Earth.
dragonfly or a butterfly, and then it
I
fades
think
into that
it has too many
beautiful
wings to be a
organic
butterfly.
It's
choral
got
music.
like a snout, so I think it's a moth.
Yeah.
And he captures it by not touching it.
Well, you can't hurt the butterfly or moth or whatever it is.
No, I know, but he has a grip like it's like caught in a cage, but like he's not actually doing anything. Kind of a weird motion.
It's all coming together.
Everything's coming up Saruman.
This is weird.
Yeah, this birthing thing that's kind of like Neo
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Matrix. I'm not sure why we had to have this latex birthing, other than that it looks cool.
So you know that these guys are, super, super dangerous and fresh.
How are the Urukai actually made? They were like mated
Tortured
orcs and no, those were
Breeding
orcs,
between
right?
men and
Breeding between
orcs. So not,
orcs and men
Half
was
orcs.
Urukai?
So they're half human, half orc.
Yeah, okay.
I assume it's a kind of forced breeding, which is a horrifying idea.
Yeah. Oh.
It's just like, I can't breathe, dude.
The trolls!
We don't get any of Sam's songs.
So wait, if you stab them and they become wraiths, how come there aren't more of them?
They might have some in Minas Morgul, like washing the
Yeah.
dishes and stuff.
And I mean, just because they became wraiths wouldn't mean that they last as long as the 9, right? They have rings, which is why they don't die.
Right.
This was probably just trying to make it sound cooler. Becoming a wraith sounds cooler than dying.
Just imagining, like, they just have a bunch of Wraith interns in Minas Morgul getting them coffee, setting up the PowerPoint presentations,
Like, I have to clean up the torture room again.
working in IT.
Oh wow,
It's
she's
just
so
all to
pretty.
do.
Arwen.
So her soul is wearing a dress, but her body is wearing like a jacket.
Whatever happened to Liv Tyler?
She was in The Leftovers.
Yeah, she played a mean lady in that one.
She fell for the cult, didn't she? She's been just having babies and being happy. I saw a recent Architectural Digest video of her showing everyone around her beautiful townhouse in Manhattan.
How dare she?
She spent a lot of time picking out drapes.
Oh, you know what I want stuck in my wound? Something that's been in someone else's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, watching
And
during
the
COVID.
king is this bit of a healer.
I mean, he's the
Might
king
be
of
a thing.
Gondor. His spit is probably magical
Speed of the
too.
king is the speed of the healer.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Love Sam. He's so Captain Obvious.
Aragorn's like, man, you don't even get it, bro.
Here we go. Girls have power. Girls can do shit. I felt this was a bit clumsy. This could have been Glorfindel, right?
It should have been.
You thought
I
this was
guess-
clumsy?
Like I said last time, like Glorfindel would have just been there for like one scene, and then, I mean, at least Arwen comes back at the end, right?
Yeah, in the books, like Glorfindel just gives his horse to Frodo and has him right ahead.
Yeah, and it's also implied that Arwen like calls the flood.
I kind of feel that because she hasn't done anything since, you forget how big a deal it was to cast her in this. And that she was probably one of the best paid actors in it, and they probably felt they had to like give her more to do. But it's only because she isn't that famous now we forget.
I mean, she's done stuff, but like I don't know if it's necessarily that, like she wasn't getting work or if she just kind of like took a step back for a bit or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think she.
I mean, I've seen her, but
I think it's her stepping back to have kids proactively, right?
yeah, she seems to do like a lot of smaller stuff, more indie stuff. And there was a period where I think she just like was like, I'm out for a while.
But
Which
I feel that
you can do.
yeah, which is totally cool. I'm just saying that it probably explains why they put her in this role, because for a lot of people who went to see this film, she would have been the most famous person in it.
Oh yeah, she was all over. I remember the advertisements and stuff. Like she was like a big like Liv Tyler was everywhere. She was like the rising young star still. I mean, this was like a year or two after Armageddon, even, right?
Was she in Armageddon?
Yeah, she was Bruce Willis's
I loved her in
daughter
Empire
in that.
Records.
Yeah, Empire Records. Empire Records was like what, 95?
94, 95, something like that, yeah. Rex Manning Day.
That movie holds up, I'm sure.
Oh my god, Twitter filled with so much stuff telling us how Alexander Hamilton was basically an evil person. Can nothing just stand anymore?
Did it? I mean, look, the thing is that like some people are never going to be happy. They're just going to want like everything to be fucking canceled, and I don't know. There's a certain amount of reason that has to be injected into that.
That's a great line. I like that a lot.
I mean, I don't know how many powerful men can you look at in history that like maybe were good men that did good things that didn't also use that power to do stuff that normal people couldn't do. Maybe not great things. I mean, I don't know.
So
love
much
Rivendell.
light.
I love how with like elven architecture, everything's like open because everywhere they live, like they basically have climate control.
I've never really paid much attention to the statues here, but I just noticed now that there's a lot.
Oh my god, there's a statue on the headboard, and that's kind of freaking me out. I wouldn't want to wake up with that over my head.
I mean, the one on the headboard you probably wouldn't see when you wake up. The ones
True.
all around you.
Yeah, the
Those
ones
are the
all
ones you'd
around
see.
you. Waking up with sleep paralysis would be hell in Rivendell with all the statues.
Oh, this is cool.
Like, oh crap,
I mean,
man!
honestly, sleeping would be so weird without any walls.
No, I think I'd like it.
Does Saruman not know that Gandalf's gonna enlist like the moths and the butterflies and eagles as help?
Maybe he
apparently not.
underestimates
I think
the
not.
Those
natural
things are
world.
beneath Saruman.
But he knows that people like Radagast have, communion with nature. I mean,
He doesn't take into account the giant tree.
But he's a
monsters
cocky
living next door
bastard. Like
either.
he thinks he's got him, you know. And he kept all this hidden for so long, right?
so he didn't see Gandalf escaping in his Palantir then.
I suppose
I think
not.
this stuff is
Well,
on
Look
the
at that! Look at that!
soundtrack.
Look at that
Palantir is the
majestic
future.
eagle. That thing could go straight to Mordor, right, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, the Palantir, Sauron is using the Palantir to manipulate Saruman, right? So
Yeah.
Sauron wouldn't anticipate Gandalf escaping.
Welcome, Mr. Anderson.
All this has happened before, Frodo.
Oh, this is it. This is the shot. This is
The last
I want
homely
this to
house.
exist somewhere.
This is. I remember seeing this in the
Perfect
cinema
valley.
for the first time and thinking I was in heaven. Like, this is what heaven will look like. Just paradise.
Kind of looks
I
like
can
the
see
Alps.
why Bilbo decided to retire here.
Yeah, I want to retire here. After living my real life in Hobbiton, I want to retire to Rivendell.
And I like how everything is
and then you could go to the lot.
like everything is slightly like autumn because like the elves are waning.
Mm. The music is so beautiful.
And here comes the Shire theme.
It's so gorgeous. This is going to be me seeing my mum and dad tomorrow for the first time since lockdown.
Bilbo's like shuffleboards at 3.
The book.
The elves
Oh,
cheated
so
Bingo.
beautiful.
And some person in the props department had the job of making that. I mean, how much
Oh.
fun.
So beautiful.
No, boy.
And they clearly spent so much time on with props and costumes and they just
And it's so thoughtful. So now that Bilbo's here, he's going to be in more muted elvish greens and silvers.
And you can tell he's retired by his capri pants and shawl.
Yeah. That's basically how my dad looks now. He's turning into Bilbo. But even the detailing of the doors and the arches and the carvings, like every situation having its own style, it's so beautiful.
I wonder if Bilbo is mad about the amount of taxes the elves charge him.
Well, he's probably paying rent or something. He's still got some of that leftover dragon hoard, right?
You know,
I
Elvicare
think-
doesn't cover everything.
I think in the books, Frodo says he spent all of it, right?
Frodo says that. But then again, Bilbo didn't bring back his actual 14th share of the hoard of the dwarves because that would be way too fucking much to take all the way back to the Shire.
Yeah.
Way back, he gives Elrond as much as Elrond is willing to take.
Maybe the dwarves treat it as like a bank, like they're holding on to his 14th share, and whenever he needs some, they send it to him.
compound interest on that over 60 years is incredible.
Yeah, he does have some dwarves helping him out on his birthday in the book, so I guess he has contact with them.
Yeah, he does go back to the Lonely Mountain in like the 17 years between his vanishing and Frodo's quest.
Oh, Elrond's clothes
Does
are
he?
so beautiful. Look at the embroidery on that tunic. Look at his bookshelves.
Yeah.
I was about to do that. I was just about to say, look at his
What's
bookshelves.
bookshelves?
But again, so open to the elements that I'm like, is that a good place for your books? Right next to these open windows?
And the naked flames.
Yeah.
And the waterfalls.
The spells of the elves keep the books fresh.
He's another little bit of a Captain Obvious, isn't he, like Sam? The elves are moving. Sorry, the enemy is moving. Thank you for that. Hugo Weaving's so young. Hugo Weaving would actually have made quite a good Gandalf.
Oh, like nowadays?
Well, even then with a bit of makeup.
What are
It's a
his
bit too
thoughts on
severe.
these movies?
Not sure I've heard
Does he like hate making them like he hates making other stuff? Or did he enjoy it?
Boy,
Good arrival montage.
and that guy. And these
Yes,
guys.
Legolas and that other elf.
I like how Boromir and the elves arrive on horses, and then the dwarves just walk.
Yeah.
They're power walkers.
Dwarves are just fucking awesome.
I like how in the Hobbit books, like it talks about how like they just carry so fucking much with them. Like they have their tools, they have all their supplies, they even have like their musical instruments that they just carry around with them.
Yeah, one dude has a cello.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're basically like oxes, man.
Yeah.
Remember, they are natural sprinters.
Very dangerous over short distances.
Cast it into the fire.
Does anyone else love how like this like mountain of like lava has this like lovely built like archway and
windows.
hangover?
And,
Yeah.
Like who built that?
Well, Sauron had to like go
Yeah, Sauron
and forge
did.
the ring, right? So he
He's
probably
like, look,
did that.
I need a place to come and overlook the lava. I need to get closer.
It was basically his workshop.
Yeah.
He. This is a great extended scene between Aragorn and Boromir here.
Shards
Oh
of
yeah, with the
Narsil.
sword. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this really helps Boromir here as a character.
This is nice and moody.
Don't you know it's not good to read with such low light?
I mean, they may as well just get their dicks out, right? I mean,
Sword
That would
fight?
change the dynamic quite a bit.
no, but it's such a sort of like a one-up, sort of like, who are you? Who are you? Alpha males sort of clashing.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch this sword over here.
That's what we alpha males do, Bina.
Sean Bean would have been the biggest star in this alongside Liv Tyler, right, at the time?
Well, I mean, but he was like a journeyman type. Like, you know, you wouldn't have known who Sean Bean was, you would have been like, oh, he's that guy. I've seen him.
Or maybe
You
in
know.
England he's a bigger deal.
Like GoldenEye, I think, was a couple years before
Yeah.
this.
I mean, he was quite the heartthrob in England in his younger days. He has
Was he known
the
mostly
sword,
for Sharp
asshole.
or for what?
Yeah, for Sharp and then GoldenEye. But yeah, and for just being a ladies' man. But he would have been a
Ladies,
bigger
man,
star
man's
at the
man,
time.
man about town.
Yeah, he would have been a bigger star than Viggo Mortensen at the time.
Yeah, but then even you have the likes of like Ian Holm and what's his name, Gimli, like, which is like almost unrecognizable at first.
It's actually quite nice to see Aragorn cleaned up and in proper clothes.
Not a dirty man.
Look a little more kingly.
Yeah.
Is that a jerkin
Yeah.
or a
It's a
doublet?
robe.
Well, in the books, doesn't Frodo's like see him all cleaned up in like the Hall of Tales or whatever as he's leaving?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, sort of catches a glimpse of his majesty there.
And Bilbo's
Almost doesn't
like, where's my
recognize him."
writing friend?
Yeah, Bilbo's like, oh, the Dunedain? Yeah, I made a whole song about him. Like, we're good friends.
Lots of stuff from the appendix.
I did it here because otherwise their romance would have been pretty paper thin.
Yeah.
Well, I need to start getting ready for work, so I'll check you guys later.
Thanks for hanging out.
Well, it raises the question of, are we doing the whole movie now, or are we going to stop when the Fellowship sets off at the kind of the interval mark?
I could watch the whole movie.
But whatever's good for everyone else.
Yeah,
I
can
love
do
the
both.
circlet that he's wearing.
Oh, such a great moment.
Oh, Matt the baby's so cute. Legolas attempting to emote, even in the presence of the ring, and failing.
My son just said Dumbledore's in this.
This whole black
Yeah,
speech.
man, of course,
bit
the
sort of
man
fucks up
tries
the
to touch
flow
it,
of
and
the
we got to
scene.
get serious. I do love the way they did like the black speech, and you see like Elrond just being like, "Oh."
Yeah, but I think it fucks up the flow of the scene because Boromir looks like such an idiot because he keeps pressing it after that.
Yeah.
I'd cut that out.
Gandalf's like, y'all want to learn German?
Oh, Boromir, aren't you listening?
Oh, this is a great speech.
Those look like very uncomfortable chairs.
Was it Jack Black that did the parody of this scene on Saturday Night Live?
Sit down, Legolas.
Oh, chills.
How does he know that, and yet he's not sitting on the throne?
It's complicated.
I mean, he's from the northern line, right?
I love Sean Bean's theme.
Whereas
Sit
Like
down,
we don't need a
Legolas.
king. Someone rules it like a king, but we don't need a king.
So much resentment. Who's the guy sitting to the right of Gandalf, the LV-looking blonde dude?
Probably supposed to be Glorfindel or
maybe
something.
exactly.
Nice,
maybe they meant
Gimli,
it to be
nice.
Glorfindel.
My gosh, never thought of doing that before.
Gimli's
Yeah.
so awesome.
He's so shocked.
Didn't they have like a dozen different rings made?
Yeah, and it's Sean Aston's ring, isn't it? His wedding ring that they modelled it on.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a gold band, but
If you look at it, I think it's one of the cast commentaries
A
on the
Thousand
original
Means.
DVDs. They talk about they couldn't get the design right, and eventually they just used Sean Aston's ring because he was married.
And 1,000
One
memes were
doesn't
launched.
simply walk into Mordor.
Yeah, that's like proto memes, like before memes were a thing.
Yeah, I think this is the meme that began memes, right?
I mean, that might actually be.
there was this, and there was the like, it's a mighty gift meme, which like kind of died off.
And they're taking the hobbits to Isengard. There's the whole song and everything about it.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Rabble, rabble.
Racism. Oh,
Ah, there's the flop sweat again.
oh. Here it
Gotta get his
comes.
fixed.
Here it comes.
Ring-induced flop sweat.
I love when you see the fighting in the reflection on the ring. Like the ring is bringing discord.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
And Frodo
Yeah.
sees it and realizes what he has to do. Oh,
It's almost like the ring is waking up.
What's Elrond doing? He's running this meeting. Get some order, man.
and you can see Gandalf's heart break.
Yeah, Gandalf's heart is breaking because he knows what Frodo's going to do. I will take the ring to Mordor.
Who's behind?
Iconic.
Yeah.
So
Or until
powerful.
Moria, whichever runs
So
into a Balrog
powerful.
first.
Fellowship theme. . This is going to be the cleanest that we see Aragorn for a while. You don't really have his
until the
sword,
last
though.
movie.
Aragorn's not giving up that sword for anyone.
The axe I didn't break.
Yeah, he just got a second axe.
Legolas still struggling to emote.
I'm a dwarf of many axes.
He does have a lot of axes. He's got his walking axe, then his like double-edged axe, and a couple of throwing axes. Axe for every occasion.
Yeah.
Aw, Sam.
That Elrond scowl is legendary.
What are these children doing talking to me? Cue the title.
So Pippin aged horribly, huh?
I saw him in the most recent season of Outlander, and I was like,
Oh, really?
"Oh." Yeah, he's a little weaselly in that one, but yeah, he got old.
That's Aragorn's mom's grave, huh?
Is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Huh.
Oh, come on, elves. You could upkeep it better than that.
It's what?
Yeah,
Aragorn's
man. Why'd they
mom's
let
grave.
it? Why'd they
It's
let it
his
get
mother's
overgrown?
statue.
It's a bit disrespectful. You'd think Eowyn, his fiance, would be on that shit.
Or like that would be Bilbo's one job while he's in retirement.
Quite sort of Virgin Mary looking.
He don't want it.
Pretty good transition there. Talking about bloodlines and legacy and taking on your sort of destiny.
Sing.
Ooh, Mithril.
Literal
Oh, boy.
plot armor.
Oh boy.
So beautiful. The working around the neck.
Can I have it? Oh boy.
It's your fault, Bilbo.
Bilbo's such a good guy, though. I mean,
That
and to have
one-
carried
that's
that
one
thing
half.
around for so long.
Yeah, he could be a complete ass. I mean, you see what it does to Boromir, and he's adjacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, how long did it take, Smeagol to turn into Gollum? I don't think it took him decades.
500 years, right?
Necessarily.
It's something insane like that. 300 years.
Well, I mean, I think he went evil pretty quickly, is what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, he
Yeah,
killed
I mean, he killed his brother.
He kills his brother
right
within
away.
like half an hour. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean, it
think
takes
they
a
got
while to
driven out
become
in a
full Gollum, but
Yeah, I think. there
Oh
was
yeah,
points
like
about
the
him,
the
sneaking
wispy
around
hair and all the grossness, but
like he would sneak into people's homes and steal stuff, and always be golluming about like making that noise, and people drove him out. I think it was a matter of years before he turned, or was driven out.
Yeah, by his mom, right? She's like, get out of here.
Yeah.
Come on, Frodo, you didn't look at one fucking map? You don't even know the first direction to go?
Look,
Jesus.
Frodo having to ask directions as they leave the gate is like...
It's not a good starting point.
It's like, yeah, this is not going well. But you know what? He'll go whichever way you tell him and go.
There's your shot, Bina.
Yeah, it's pretty sexy.
Now, how old is Arwen at this point?
A bazillion.
3,000 years old, I think. No, not 3.
So, like,
3,000,
young
I
Aragorn
think?
spends some time with her, and, like, they kind of get infatuated, and she's just like, I don't want to live any more lifetimes without you. Like, they don't really...
Is she 3,000
explain
years
the
old or
romance very
300 years
much.
old? I don't know. I don't remember exactly.
I think she
One of the
was... She was born in the Third Age, so the Third Age is like 3,000 years, right? So
Okay,
it's a big window.
yeah.
This is that trailer shot.
How Lord of the Rings gets mocked a lot, that it's just a lot of walking. I think this is one of the scenes they point to.
I mean, that's more Two Towers, right? That has a lot more just random, Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn running across Rohan in various directions.
Yeah, but it's beautiful, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Oh, this is one of the cute scenes. Like when you realize that Boromir is basically, he's all right.
Yeah, he plays with the little ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Arwen was a little less than 3,000 years old when she met Aragorn.
Hmm.
Yeah. She's just a young, innocent elf.
Well, I think technically for an elf, she's not that old.
No, I know, but this is like, it's like the thing with like the Mandalorian where you have Baby Yoda and they're like, oh, the child is 50, but it's basically still like a 6-month-old infant. I'm like, you can't have the development cycle stretched out that long just because you live forever. Like, after 50 years, you probably would have seen a lot, right?
Or you would have been killed, right?
Right, yeah, you couldn't fend for yourself. So like with elves, I mean, I don't know like how long it takes them to physically grow, but you would think, 100 years in, they might go, oh, well, you're young, you don't have the wisdom we do. But at the same point, like, they probably would have still experienced more than, a normal human would, right?
So 2 hobbits just took down Boromir and Aragorn.
Yeah. Creepy birds. Hitchcock was right. Never trust a flock of birds.
I dated a girl one time that was scared to shit of birds. She's like, look at them. They're just... you don't know what they're up to. I'm like, I guess so, but...
So this beautiful shot of them walking in the mountains, and there's no footprints before them or after. So is that CG, or did a helicopter like drop them off right there?
I think they did take a helicopter up, but still, there need to be like camera tracks and stuff like that. I don't know how they did it.
They probably took like a snow machine or something with them to make sure that there weren't any other tracks in the shot.
Yeah, with like one of those things, like a kind of baseball field that they drag behind that muddles up the snow so it doesn't look like the tracks.
Oh, yeah.
Boromir's, all those little clasps and buckles he has. They've got Gondor insignia on them.
The detail, right? It's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Those were like the first Oscars these movies won, right? Was for like set design, costume, and special effects.
I think they won like every year for that stuff, but I could be wrong.
Boromir's cloak is so fancy.
A shame that he's.
I mean, he's
Lothlorien.
essentially a prince.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's the
Yeah.
heir to Gondor.
When are they going to do like the 4K touch up of these movies? Make me buy them again.
It's got to be coming, right? Maybe when Amazon does its new series, they'll do that as like a tie-in.
Maybe. But they're not related. They're two different properties and stuff, so who knows?
But you're going to get all that free publicity, aren't you? So if you were
That's
clever
true.
as
Yeah,
Moonlight,
yeah.
you would time it.
That would be the time.
I think I did see something about a remaster coming like in the past year or so. The news I saw. But I can't really point to it now.
Maybe once Katy Perry gives birth to baby Legolas, we'll get it.
Oh, God.
Oh, are they together?
Yeah.
She's super preggo.
Oh, well, good for her.
They're gonna produce a little
So-
blonde douchebag.
The movie didn't do like the giants throwing stones at each other, right?
The Hobbit did.
It was just. Oh yeah.
I don't think it was in the Fellowship. The giants. I don't think there were giants in the Fellowship. I think it was more just the mountain was sort of sentient and had kind
Oh
of
yeah,
a
just like an
right,
will
avalanche
of
or
its own.
something.
It was the mean spirit of the mountain, yeah. All this was like crunched up styrofoam or something that was apparently impossible to clean out.
Shh, 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 shh. Don't ruin the illusion.
Don't tell the kiddies.
Oh, I just remembered from when we were doing the podcast. I remember how much Shellfish hated Legolas just jumping all over the snow without sinking in. I just remembered that.
I think I've gotten a little past my elf hate since then, but yeah, it was a thing.
I didn't hate Legolas at all until I saw The Hobbit, and then I don't know, I just hated him so much in that.
Well, they did him dirty in The Hobbit. He had no business
Yeah.
being in that movie.
Yeah.
The Hobbit
I
did
know.
so much dirty, though. I mean,
That is true.
if
Ken
Orlando
and Drill
Bloom
or
had
whoever
said,
the
you know
fuck-
what, I'm not going to take the paycheck, I wonder what they would have done.
Look, Boromir's taking care of the little ones again.
That subtle darkening of his beard.
What, Gandalf?
So did no one see that just until right then?
Well, exactly.
The two holly trees.
I've actually got the Gates of Moria as my lock screen on my phone.
Lovely.
Nice.
Does not
actually
mean
forgotten
everyone
about
can guess
these.
your password, though.
Melon.
Is it friend?
It is not melon, no friend.
This is very simple. I mean, you speak the password. I do love how epic he gets. He's like, all right, we're just going to open this door. And just booming, and nothing happens.
Yeah, I like when he breaks down in the book. He's just like, open, open, open.
It's a bit embarrassing, though, let's be clear.
He's like, well, it's been a while since I've been here. You know, I don't remember the password. Fidelio?
So the orcs have spells of their own?
I guess so.
And here we get introduced and say goodbye to Bill.
No, that's sad.
Bye-bye, Bill.
You don't want the octopus to get him?
The Watcher in the water is kind of weird. I almost forget about it every time.
It's a
Like,
little
they
bit
don't-
Star Wars, though. Like, I find this, I could do without this bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the video game, having to kill that thing.
Oh, the PlayStation
Ah.
2 one?
Yeah, I played the shit out of that game.
Yeah, that was a great game. Too bad you can't get
The Two Towers part. Oh, that was fun too.
that you can't play it nowadays on modern machines.
Has no one done a retrofit sort of,
Not that I've found.
So that was PS2, I think.
Yeah.
How do they not just get all that stank that comes out when the doors open and be like, no, we shouldn't do this?
Good point.
It's interesting how he thought he was going to find his people here. I mean, because the expedition was a long time back. There's just no communication.
Yeah, they haven't heard anything in a long time.
Right, and that's why they're going to Elrond because, well, first to warn them of the messenger from Sauron, but that they haven't heard anything from Balin.
But I mean, Gimli seems so confident, they'll be there. It's no problem.
So did the Watchers sense that Frodo was carrying the ring, or what?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it went straight for Frodo.
Yeah, it looks like
Keep
it's
throwing
only going
arrows
for
at it,
Frodo.
Legolas.
Hey, you're on Greyjoy.
I like
this
that
is the
great
Forsaken
hue that
chapter, right?
Boromir cuts the tentacle. It's a great shot.
Why do the characters always have to stop and look back when they're running away from something? Just keep running.
I know. It's not
Or
suddenly stop. I mean, just carry on. Crack on, guys.
Or just do it like a Japanese anime where like you run forward and we can see it over your shoulder, but you never turn back because you're just that cool.
Yeah.
There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
Be like, yeah, duh, Gandalf, we just met one. Imagine you're a professional model maker and you get to work on this movie and you're like carving out Minas Tirith and this set.
Inspiring the stuff that Weta Workshop does. Do you guys know
it must
what
be great working
other
there.
movies they've done recently? Like, I think they did District 9 and stuff like that, but
They do a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like they're sort of like. I mean, ILM was like everywhere when they first came up, but now I think after these movies, like everyone's been using Weta.
Oh, Weta did Avatar.
mostly CGI though.
Are those films actually ever coming out? And is anyone even going to remember the first one when it does?
Oh, all the sequels.
Yeah, the Ocean World they're gonna do, or were gonna do like 10 years ago.
So like they've got like a Pandora area at like Disney World. They've integrated it, and when James Cameron kind of does fuck all, and then he makes Avatar and says, "All right, I'm gonna make like 10 more of these," and then just was like, I'll get to him eventually. It's like,
Yeah.
dude needs to be motivated.
Okay, so Weta did Men in Black International, Jumanji: The Next Level, Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, Mulan, Wandering Earth, whatever that is, I Am Mother, whatever that is, Godzilla King of Monsters.
I have not seen any of those movies, but I mean,
I liked the new Godzilla. It's fun.
Oh, they did Mortal Engines, Pacific Rim
Yeah, I can
Uprising,
see that.
Rampage. A bunch of like crappy action movies, actually.
That's what I'm saying. They get a ton of work.
Like The Rock is in many of their movies that they work in, so.
Smeagol.
like this is one of those scenes that I didn't really appreciate when I was younger, but now it's kind of more meaningful. Just like the value of mercy and pity and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's character building.
Yeah.
And it's very heavy. I mean, he's saying some that died deserve life. Can you give it to them? I mean, jeez.
And this is everything, right? Because
This is the money shot.
if Gandalf doesn't persuade Frodo to have mercy on Gollum, then Gollum doesn't save Frodo at the end.
Yeah, then the ring doesn't get destroyed at all.
No, Frodo puts it on and he's on happy day. Not on happy days, but
Yeah.
this is everything, this scene.
especially in these times that we live in. I wish we.
In the darkest corner of the underworld, and they have this ray of hope in the sin.
Took you that long to smell the air, Gandalf? Come on.
How many dwarves did Balin bring when he was trying to reopen Moria?
I think he brought Feely and Keely and like a host or something like that against Dane's wishes.
That's I'm curious. Was it like a couple hundred? Was it 1,000? Was it?
Philly and Kitty, didn't they die in the Battle of the Five Armies?
It was some of the other ones.
I thought he brought 2 people from the original quest.
Well, yeah, but it couldn't have been Philly and Kitty because Philly and Kitty were like Thorin's heirs, right? And they all died in the Battle of the Five Armies, which is why Dane became the king after King or whatever, Lord of the Dwarves. King of the Dwarves?
Yes,
after
King
Thorin
of the
died.
Lord of the Mountain.
Yeah.
But
yeah, King under the mountain.
I think they had at least that guy who has all the knitted scarves in the Hobbit, and like Oin too. I think he was the one with the grey hair in the Hobbit.
Oh, poor Gimli.
But though, I prefer the book when he sort of suffers in silence or mourns in silence.
Yeah, doesn't he just tilt his head down and like pull out his beard or something?
Yeah, he pulls his hood over his face.
Yeah, I remember the game had like clips from the movie before, like fights and stuff.
Transitioned into sort of 3D animation.
Like they had this, and then
press X for swift attack.
That's right. Fucking A, man.
Fucking toques.
But they do get the plot moving, right? Because if this hadn't happened, they wouldn't have to hurry out and get the Balrog, you know, like, I mean, come on.
Exactly. I'm sure it's different when you're inside the story.
Pippin is the keystone.
Everyone's a critic.
Fool of a took.
Oh, ouch. That's harsh.
Indeed.
Nadia, you are correct that Feely and Keely were killed. What the fuck did they bring to the thing? Even the wiki says, like, Balin led a company of dwarves down. I thought, like, some of them we knew from them.
Oin, Gloin, Boffer, Bomber, Feely, Killy.
Well, isn't Bombor...
You'd think like, Dwalin, but...
Wasn't Bombur so fat, like he needed a host like of young dwarves to carry around his couch or something?
Yeah, he's still at the Lonely Mountain. I think Nori was one of the ones who was in Moria.
He was very much the Wyman Mandalay of the dwarves.
Oh yeah, Dory and Nori are the ones I always forget.
Gimli's so funny. Do you think he leaves the plaits in his beard, or do you think he plaits them every morning?
I think he just leaves them in.
I really like the goblins. They're cool looking. And the cave troll as well. That's a cool design.
I find these sorts of scenes a little bit boring, in fairness.
Why boring?
I mean, they don't advance the plot.
I mean,
It's all a bit dumb.
This one isn't my favorite just because the troll's a little awkward. But I mean, you know, battle scenes always fun.
Yeah, I just really like the design of the cave troll, and there's some good shots in here, but it's a little hectic, and there are a lot of quick cuts, so it's not a great battle scene, but it's a good one, I think.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Is this was kind of like the beginning of the rise of like the shaky cam fight scene thing that we've seen for like 20 years now, where you do like the quick cut and oops, shake the camera, and it's supposed to make it seem like, you know, more interesting, like things are happening faster than they are, and you know, half the time it just gives me a headache.
I like how like everyone kind of demonstrates their own fighting style.
Yeah, Sam's over there like out of the pan and into the fire, or something like that.
So the trolls are supposed to be like in opposite of the Ents.
Yeah, they're rocks. I think they wake up from the rocks or something.
Isn't that what they think the dwarves do?
Yeah, I think so.
This is a great shot when Aragorn spears the troll. I like that. Gets walloped though.
Aragorn just
And
gets
Aragorn's
pimp
dead.
slapped.
Boring.
For the Shire. Oh, come on, it's inspiring here. Look at the hobbits go.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way generally about all the fight scenes being, or just this one?
All of them. And it's why I can't watch Marvel movies, because the final act is always some massive CGI battle and I don't care.
Yeah.
I like all the
Aw.
romantic kind of stuff and the character stuff. I want to see beautiful shots of beautiful things. I mean, like if it's a battle where it's meaningful. So if it's, you know, if it's Theoden
the Battle
saying
of
for
Helm's Deep, are you
Theolingus,
bored,
yeah,
or-
no, like for Theolingus, because that's character. It's the man who
I was gonna
deep,
say,
you
if
know,
Yeah.
the
awakened.
Pride of Rohan you're against.
But I don't care about
I don't
these
know if we
trolls.
can be
This I
friends.
know is meaningless. There's no stakes. So it has to be a battle
I think
that's
it's
truly a
sort of
battle.
character development. It shows the devotion to Frodo. That everyone gets all upset when they think Frodo is dead, and it inspires them to kill the troll and kill the rest of the goblins as well.
But that's also just self-interest, right? Because once they kill
And I
Frodo,
mean,
they're going to get him.
bravery gives the hobbits a chance to prove themselves. And
Just fighting experience for them. I mean, they've never fought before.
Yeah, they all level up after this and get to pick a new attribute.
Yet more stabbing of Frodo. Was the troll fight in the original film, or was that extended edition?
No,
It was in the film.
original.
It was in the film.
Yeah, that's like a big part of like the promo, and there were toys, and there were like the trolls, like a big set piece.
In the book, wasn't it just like an orc chieftain that stabbed
Yeah,
Frodo?
it's an orc chieftain, almost man tall, but not quite man tall.
I suppose it shows you how cool Mithril is, for the people at home who don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
but
funny.
isn't
Like
that just
awkward CG Gandalf running. This looks like a video game.
It is funny because it's the first time I'm watching this not on my own. So I'm just realizing the bits that I always fast forward. I don't think I've actually watched that scene for ages because I always fast forward through.
Or you like tune out and you're like, oh, I've got something else to do over here.
Next scene.
On. And with a movie this long, and with movies that you've seen like dozens of times or whatever, like it's there's nothing wrong with skipping bits.
Sounds so alien to me. I never fast forward through anything if I'm like watching it.
Right.
Usually I just watch it, but I mean, movies like this, I'll jump in and I might just like want to watch, like, turn to a specific scene an hour in, and then I'll just watch until I'm bored.
Oh, okay. I mean, I watch Lord of the Rings scenes on YouTube or listen to the dialogue just to like experience it again.
Like I know, like Beanham was just throwing shade at the Marvel movies, but like I'll throw on the final battle from Endgame. Like I don't know how many times I put that on.
I mean, if they're on TV, it's just like the best shit to have in the background because you don't need to watch it.
Right. It allows.
But
you
that's
to
a
do something
savage
else
indictment of a movie.
Oh, I don't think so. Like I do that with Shawshank Redemption too. Like if it's on, I'll watch it, but like it doesn't have to hold my attention.
Yeah. Because you've seen it so
want
many
something
times.
with like dialogue or some audio aspect to it rather than action scenes in the background?
No, because you can either way. You can just kind of peek over. I feel like nowadays, like we dual screen a lot, we multitask, there's so much content, there's so much going on in our lives that a lot of stuff is like that.
Do you think Gandalf knows he's going to die at this point? Do you think he's seen his fate?
I think I don't
know.
He's definitely like, I don't know what it is, but like it almost broke me, so it's not great. But he knows he has like the bigger job to move the Fellowship forward. And
yeah, I think he might have made the decision to sell his life dearly there. Seemed much more grave than before in that scene.
So I normally fast forward through all of this, and then they pop up when they run away from the mountain and they're coming to Galadriel.
So do you fast forward the bridge?
You fast forward the Balrog?
Yeah, it's just boring.
The bit with the stairs here is boring. This part is kind of stupid.
These stairs were not built to code. There are no handrails anywhere.
All I can think of is like the dwarves did this. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, this is sort of like one of those like amusement park rides that doesn't really like. Okay, it's fun to see once,
like
I guess.
When they replace Indiana Jones the ride with like Lord of the Rings the ride, it'll be this shit.
Exactly.
And I feel like that was like so much of the Hobbit movies. Like it was just a roller coaster ride with nothing meaningful in it.
Yeah.
Which, really sucks.
About the handrails, a lot of stairs in our corner of the world don't have handrails. Like
really?
I mean, in the cities you do, but in the villages, like stairs won't have any rails or anything. They're just open-sided stairs.
But what about like a sidewall?
On one side, sure, there's usually a wall, but on the other,
how many of your stairs drop off into eternity, though?
Yeah, into boiling lava.
Yeah, not that many.
Not that many. So there are some.
Not the beard. Okay, that's a good. It's like the only good part of this scene.
I'll have a little nap now. Just wake me up when it's over.
Oh, come on, Bina. Gandalf's about to fall. There's a Balrog.
So apparently the music in this scene is Maori warriors chanting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The
Like
DVD
doing the
extras.
hacker.
That local flavor.
It's very grand. I do like the music.
Oh, look, it's gonna tip one way, but
then gravity works differently in
it's
Middle
gonna
Earth.
look if they lean, you can move this.
Physics is different.
Yeah, I mean, their weight balances out the weight of like 4 tons of rock.
Of course
No,
it
it's like
does.
20 tons. I mean, it's come on.
They have the power of the ring.
Christ alive.
And it doesn't crush the other side; it just gently lands.
Ba, 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 ba.
This is so Indiana Jones, it's silly.
Well, Indiana Jones is meant to be silly, and it works.
That's almost James Bondy in its silliness. Like crashing the falling stair against the other stair. It just takes me out of it, and it's just annoying because they do so much hard work with props and stuff. Like, you know, when you're in Rivendell or when you're in Rohan, all this beautiful work to make you really feel like you're in it. And then with stuff like this, I feel it's so OTT, it just takes me out of it.
Why? This is Shadow and
the Balrog
Flame.
is
Like,
great.
how is this is an awesome representation of the Balrog.
But the stairs, I think, like that's like kind of the seeds of like, you know, Jackson you see later in the Hobbit movies. You know, it's like the fucking, like you said, like it's full of it. We got like 2 hours of the fucking stairs scene in those Hobbit movies. It's like,
Yeah,
geez.
it feels like it really brings out the worst in him, those movies. Like, he goes overboard with his, like, obsession with the grotesque as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which worked for the orcs and stuff here, but then, you know, fucking shit on Radagast. And
Yeah, imagine how the Hobbit would have been if Guillermo actually directed it. It would have been a fucking trip.
I was so there for that, and then when they're like, "Well, Peter Jackson's doing it," I'm like, "He didn't fucking want to do it." And then when it goes from 2 to 3, you're just like, "Oh," and because that was like my favorite book as a kid was The Hobbit, and so like before they ever came out, I was like, I don't know. I really wanted to like them.
Does the Balrog have a sword in the book?
Yeah. He has a sword and a whip.
But is it really
I
matter
love
because
the
it's
whip
like
in this scene.
I think they call it like a tendril of flame or something like that.
This always like strikes me as almost biblical, like Moses in the 12 Command or something. You know, like one of those.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Charlton
He's
Heston.
like, "Cool, I got it. Look at that, we're done." Goodbye.
Oh, I love
Gandalf
this
the
part
Grey.
where the
Did you come to
whip
see the
comes
Balrog?
back. And
Don't try to save him. Someone could have grabbed his hand.
Yeah,
but then would they have been powerful enough to match the strength of a Balrog?
Well, it
The
wasn't
Balrog
holding
was a
him
mile
still.
away.
Yeah, it only tripped him to the edge.
Yeah, he was like just losing his grip because he's like an old brittle wizard, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I feel they could have made
Aragorn
more
could have just
effort
pulled him
here.
up.
Or he fell deliberately.
Yeah, if the whip had still been around him or something, then it'd make a little more sense. But
The music.
Yeah, there's a whole theme in Tolkien about like the purifying and healing power of grief, and I think you can kind of feel it in this scene and the music.
Yeah, the music's lovely. Sam cries really well.
I think this is actually
Orlando
pretty good
Bloom's
acting
still
from
trying to figure
Orlando
out
Bloom,
what to do.
because he actually looks bewildered and like surprised there.
No, but he does this kind of like he can't emote. He just looks like he doesn't understand human emotion.
Yeah.
For pity's sake.
He's like, "Child, I'm the king. Let's get going."
Isn't this where you put the quote, Matt, on the when we were going to do the quote podcast at the beginning of the quarantine? Like Aragorn goes, "We must do without hope."
Yes. We must gird ourselves and do without hope.
It's a good line.
Did that podcast ever happen?
Nope.
It did not.
So we did indeed have to do without hope.
Wait, let me check the forums and see what the status is.
What happened? Just
Everything-
no one could be asked to edit it or something.
Oh, no, I didn't.
I
We
think
didn't
it just-
record it, I think.
Yeah.
I think there was just a lot going on for there not being a lot going on, if you know what I mean.
I do worry about the podcast just dying because no one edits.
Yeah, it could be a problem sometimes. Or part of the problem sometimes, someone comes up with an idea and you're like, okay, cool, so run with that. And they're just like, well, no, I want someone else to do it. You're like, oh. And then no one else feels like they can do it because someone else kind of already put it out there.
Talk to me, Gladriel.
I love how this music is simultaneously beautiful but also sinister. It just captures it so well.
Talk right into my brain.
Oopsie poopsie.
I assume
Those
that
dudes
was
were, like,
aimed
3
at
feet away.
Elena, not at us.
I kind of wish they had the scene where they stay at the flat. Oh, I guess this is the scene.
So is this Glorfindel? Another Glorfindel?
No, that's Haldir.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that guy plays a bad guy in a lot of stuff.
I think he should have played Legolas.
He's pretty good. I like him.
Yeah, I think he's more credible as a warrior as well.
He's the one that shows up at Helm's Deep, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you think, finally, an elf who knows how to do some shit.
He also has that quote like, "In all lands, love is now mingled with grief, but it grows perhaps the greater," in the books.
Which is a great
It's a
line.
good quote.
It's a great quote.
So is this the extended version scene? Because I don't think this was in the regular version.
Yeah, I do think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think the arguing is.
Which I like. I like the idea that there's genuine peril. And the
Yeah,
elves are
'cause
very uncertain.
He sees all those faces in the Mirror of Galadriel.
Yeah, they're all conspiring against him.
Oh, here we go.
You see, that was some good Frodo-Boromir interaction.
Yeah, there's loads, and that's why it's sad when Boromir turns, because he genuinely is a decent guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
like
think
I
he
said,
would have
I think
killed
the movie
Frodo
does a
if he
much
took the
better
ring.
job with him on that.
Like, what do you guys think that Boromir would have done if he had gotten the ring from Frodo?
I think in the moment, then he would have.
on Earth.
I think in the moment he probably would have, become violent. But I don't think he had anything against Frodo necessarily.
Wait, Elrond has human blood, right?
Elrond is he's half
old as-
elven, but he chose to be
He's
an elf.
old as hell.
Elros was.
Yeah, because he chose. Yeah.
I like how Lothlorien is kind of like this classic fairy tale kind of place where time passes differently than it does in the mortal realm. And it's kind of very fey and otherworldly.
giant leaves
doesn't
all
feel
over the floor.
welcoming in the way that Rivendell does. Though it feels there is a sinister edge. Like you don't belong here. This isn't your place. For me, anyway. Like I
Yeah,
don't
like
want to
the-
hang around longer than I need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in the books it's like it only like amplifies like what you bring with you.
I always think of these guys as the Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth of Middle Earth, because she's clearly more powerful, but he's like supportive and awesome.
Celeborn.
Yeah. I really like his coat.
Apparently they like hung a net of lights in front of Galadriel so they get that star effect in her eyes.
Whew.
Shut up, Legolas.
No one cares what you have to say.
I like that line. Tell me, where is Gandalf? For I much desire to speak with him. Like so eloquent. Like I mean, I just want to talk to him. I much desire to speak with him. Gotta use
Yeah,
that
where get all
sometime.
that?
I must
Yeah.
use that in
Exactly.
office memos. Step into my office. I much desire to speak with you.
I can no longer
Like,
see you from afar.
So, Bina, I've got HR here wondering what's with this email.
It's kind of threatening.
I mean, Galadriel is
Boromir.
very,
Ooh.
very. I mean, she is sinister.
No. She's been to the Blessed
Oh,
Realm.
yeah.
She doesn't respect boundaries.
Oh, because she breaks into your consciousness and tells
Yeah,
you
she
things.
fucking reads minds and does whatever
Mentally
you want.
rapes you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look what she's doing to Boromir.
I think we should cancel her.
She already left. She's gone.
What is it like? Every comment on YouTube about our podcast is like, "Can you guys not talk about rape one time?" If George stopped writing about it, maybe we could.
Right. Yeah. In the reread episodes where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But that's where I feel we can never catch a break, because for certain people we talk about it too much, and for the other people we're too apologetic about it. So
Right.
probably means we're catching the balance about right.
Yeah. If we're not making everyone happy, we're making.
Nadia, say something. I can't hear you.
We deeply desire to speak with you, Nadia. We cannot hear you.
Yeah, I'm
from
happiest
afar.
when I'm not
I can no
like,
longer
pleasing
hear her
everyone.
from afar.
Means maybe I'm being reasonable.
No, if you're trying to speak, Nadia, we can't hear anything.
Boo.
Help us, Nadia. You're our only hope.
Maybe she can speak directly into our minds, like Galadriel.
Even the fucking elven pillows are baller. I, mean,
I
look
did
at
not
that shit.
consent to that, Bina.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. The bed linens are very nice.
Awesome.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Yeah, we can.
Oh, okay.
Good to have you back.
I was talking for like the last 10 minutes and I
Oh,
realized
no.
nobody could hear
Oh.
me.
What did you want to say?
You're probably like, these assholes are just talking right over me.
I don't know what I was saying.
Oh, this is
I
one of
don't
my
remember.
favorite scenes.
Aragorn literally up
So
against
good.
the wall. It is beautiful.
Oh, did you guys see the charcuterie that was up the stone next to Boromir? I want to know what's on that plate.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
There are like 2 plates of like canopies and charcuterie like next to Boromir.
It's like
We talk about the
some
beautiful
bread,
embroidery
cheese.
on Boromir's sleeves, like the burgundy sleeves with the gold embroidery.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
What is going on there? What are those, like little flowers?
Almost like bees.
I think so.
And Sean Bean kills this scene, man.
Yeah, this is one of the best ones. It's long since we had any hope.
Boromir
Oh.
is such a great character.
And they bring the Gondor theme in. Oh, it's so good.
And Sean Bean can actually act. Like, he's so perfectly cast. Because he can both be all sort of macho bro and jock, but he can also do these like really sensitive scenes. You love need to make things right. The pressure, the pressure.
The banner's caught in the wind.
I like that line when he's like, and our people lose faith, but he's actually talking that he's losing faith in his father.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And when he
But like, look at him
Minas
talking
Tirith
about
in its glory,
Gondor,
it's so
the
beautiful.
love.
Have you ever been called home? Such a beautiful scene.
Yeah, might even call this sublime.
I would agree with you. This is one of my favourite scenes in the whole.
The Lords of Gondor have returned.
It's arguably the greatest scene in this film. Like
Yeah, taken together with Boromir's death scene, definitely.
Well, there's exactly the one where he talks to Aragorn at the end.
But his is the arc of the film. I mean, obviously, because he dies at the end. But it's considering he.
And now Galadriel's just floating by everyone, tempting Frodo.
Oh, Galadriel could float by me.
Oh, dear.
Barefoot as well. I like that scene in The Hobbit where she goes barefoot to Dol Guldur. That was like a nice sort of this pure white lady in the like Castle of Darkness.
But it must be
nice.
painful to film though, because you are walking across soil and stones.
No, this is all a set.
Still.
But like for the hobbits, they have like feet prosthetics, so maybe for them it's not as bad. I don't know about her.
It's a great.
I'm sure they slipped a little gel pad under there or something.
Her dress is beautiful though.
You guys never go outside barefoot? It's not that bad.
Yes, it is.
I mean, just like her dress, her hair, like everything is just absolutely perfect in this scene.
It's Kate Blanchett, what can I say?
But even bizarre, like the design of the jug is so perfect.
And then the way she pours the damn water, like...
Makes me want to pee.
Oh,
that was weird, Matt.
It's that weird running water trick.
Is Galadriel
so why they cut
lit? Does she emanate light?
Well, they're supposed to reflect starlight, right? That's a word that they're supposed to give off.
Oh, here we go.
But in the books, Sam gets to see, and he sees the cutting down of the trees in the Shire and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the scar of the Shire, basically.
Paranoia.
Hobbits in chains. Oh.
So that's the scouring of the Shire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Be grateful.
Oh, and the ring.
Giving him that side eye.
But the mirror of Galadriel is not like a Palantir, right? It's not a two-way mirror. Whereas the Palantir can see you as you can see.
Palantir is more like possible futures.
And the mirror of Galadriel is the same, right? Possible futures.
Yeah,
I meant the
reads
mirror
into
of
the
Galadriel,
individual's heart.
Yeah, because the Palantir is also used for communication.
Yeah, the Palantir is communication. The mirror just shows you like what could happen.
Oh shit, Frodo, stop trying to give this thing away.
Oh, the temptation of Galadriel.
So
Here's the
crack
crack
drop in
comes out.
Like normal everyday conversation. I will not deny that my heart has greatly desired this.
Like, I will diminish and return to the west.
Is that what Kanye West thinks? when Biden rings him up and offers him the vice presidency. I cannot deny that my heart has greatly desired this. I love how they do the Temptation of Galadriel. The special effects are so good. All shall love me and
Yeah, especially
despair.
the
What a
transition back,
line.
like, ooh,
Yeah,
it's like she's like in another body and comes back
yeah.
to her own body. It's well
Well,
done.
that's like her Valinor self unveiled, right?
hmm But I love that. I
All
love that
aspects.
phrase. All shall love me and despair.
Kind of Machiavellian.
I remain Galadriel. So gorgeous.
Like as beautiful and terrible as the dawn. Like there's all these contradictions. She
Oh, her
says it's
ring
great.
is so beautiful.
Some heavy shit.
Yeah. That's a bit of a lie, because Sam basically
It's like
carries the ring.
Kylo Ren here, you know.
Yeah.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, I guess this is supposed to be like the message of the Lord of the Rings that like even the smallest person can change the course of the future.
Yeah.
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 But I like the guy with the sword though.
A bit of orc backstory now.
That growling is pretty good. I like that. It's kind of like a tiger.
Yeah, I'm sure they use some real animal sound effects, right? To Foley in.
Saruman, the original Tiger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a nice little like montage getting ready for battle with his
So armoring up
his Uruk-hai
montage.
crew. Yeah.
And it's
I really
weird
like
these
because
guys-
there's no actual battle in this film. That's why he's armoring them
Yeah.
up to go on the hunt.
Well,
And them
like,
just
there's a
branding
little
it
bit,
with the
but-
white hand of Saruman. Like this is Saruman openly declaring
Yeah.
war, right?
Yeah, this is
Until
him
now
saying
he's
that
been
he's
kind
for
of
himself.
hidden. Yeah.
I really like that they gave them machetes as well. Like they're just like such a brutal,
I
effective
mean,
weapon.
they're scary. They're very intimidating. I mean, the makeup's well done. Like the actors, like I don't know. There's nothing about like the Uruk-hai that looks kind of like cheesy.
Bit of
And
a
we get the
disconnect
gifts, I
between
think,
the-
the extended.
Yeah, that's a good added bit.
Whoops.
But that's so not satisfying. Like you eat a bite and that's it.
Yeah, it's like saying like I had my protein capsule today and I'm good. You're like, right, but we
Yeah.
like to eat.
Yeah. And it's just cruel to do that to hobbits.
It's like Soylent Green. Oh, I used to have one of these. This dagger. I wonder if it might still be in the garage somewhere.
That's concerning that you lost a dagger.
Oh, I have boxes and boxes of stuff packed up right now.
Where did I put my gun?
Oh no, those are safely locked away, man.
Even their paddles are shaped like leaves.
Yeah.
Upgrade. That bow has like a +5 accuracy.
You should
So are
send
those
that
like
in the book?
elvish like butter knives or something? Like steak knives?
Yeah.
So which war had those knives seen service in then?
Well, I don't know, any of the wars that happened since Morgoth, right?
Sam's like, don't I get a dagger?
Which sucks because I think, why didn't he get the soil with the seed in it?
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
He does mention it and show it in Two Towers, but it's not shown here.
Fucking Gimli's so adorable.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is cute.
He's got a little elf crush.
Join the club,
Aw.
Gimli.
He's like, well, I don't know if I could say it. There's one thing you could maybe do for me. So awkward.
Nude selfie.
Can we? Do you want to go to a movie with me on Friday night?
I'm gonna text you peach eggplant.
Oh my gosh.
How good do you think that Aragorn's Elvish is? Like, do the elves just think, oh, look, he's trying, or does he speak it well?
I think it's like when I
He
tried to
grew
speak
up in-
French.
He grew up in Rivendell, so he grew up talking in Elvish, right? So I'm sure he's got the
Yeah, but
accent
he's only
right.
talked for 100 years in Elvish. I mean, he's still fairly new at the language.
But like for humans, picking up a new language takes like what, a couple of years maybe. So considering that he's, lived all his life there, early life.
If he grew
It's
up around it,
probably
he
one
should
of
be a
the
fairly
first-
native speaker.
Yeah, and he probably started speaking Elvish, right? He went to Rivendell when he was very, very young.
Yeah, but Rivendell High has like a different Elvish than Lothlorien. It's different.
That's a different. It's like Quebec in France.
Yeah. So in that vial is the light of the Silmaril, which is actually the light of the original trees of Valinor.
Yes.
Very cool.
And you see, Frodo doesn't complain and ask for something different. Sam.
Well, come on, he got a rope. Like that's not exactly.
He's like, he's got this super baller rope, which he's going to need, and she realizes it, and he's like,
Wait,
you
doesn't
know,
know
this
he
seems
needs it.
useless.
He doesn't even know the rope has magical powers.
Right. And also in the books, it's like everyone's given rope. Like they just pack in their bags.
Yeah, Sam's
That's
special gift is
true.
the seed, right?
Does everyone
mean-
get given
Yes.
Nimbus bread as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. And the cloaks. And the elvish cloaks, which kind of disguise you. I think they kind of camouflage you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
everyone
then
gets
the
those
movie
too.
actually does a really good job with that, like when they're right before the Black Gates.
I want to know where this
Yeah,
is.
they
'cause
hide
this
under
is
it.
beautiful.
and it looks
Okay,
like
now we're
cloth.
coming to the money shot.
Oh, yeah, this is beautiful.
This is the shot of world building.
Right. It changes it from like a
How
nice,
long does it take to
ambiance.
build a statue like these?
well, like they're like Mount Rushmore, right?
Oh.
How long did that take?
But Mount Rushmore is a lot tinier than you think it is, apparently.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not I've ever been, but
I've seen like pictures in perspective, and you can see the people in the trees. And, like I thought, like if you're on Washington's nose, like a person would barely fit. It's not that big. Like because in media when they do Mount Rushmore, it's usually it's huge, huge, huge.
I think each of the
And-
bases are like 30 or 40 feet long. So I mean, they're big, but like they're not,
Yeah, I mean, like they make it when you see it in like a movie or a TV show, like they make it seem like it's like you could crawl into the fucking nostrils or something. Like it's like hundreds of feet high, and it's not.
when did Mount Rushmore get done? When was that carved?
during the Depression in the 30s. The white
Oh,
guys took away a
was it a
sacred
depression
mountain
project?
of the Lakota Sioux. And decided to.
I think we already had it as a. It was part of a nature park, and then they decided to carve some faces for whatever reason. I
South
don't remember.
Dakota.
Look, they needed people to come to South Dakota. There's not really a lot of reasons to come to either of the Dakotas. I'll just say that.
Great additional Aragorn and Boromir scene as well.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Gollum just like floating along logs and then just like sitting there still, playing the ultimate long game.
He's just.
And everyone knows he's there.
And he's like, they
He
don't
thinks
know I'm
he's
here.
hiding.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm secret.
He always reminds me of Kermit the Frog when he pulls off shit like that. Oh, Sam.
Gollum here looking for the precious.
It kind of feels like Frodo's decided to go alone regardless of what happens to Boromir in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like she told him that he has to do this on, like he's the only one that can see it through to the end, and he feels like that he doesn't want to see all of his friends die.
There is courage also.
So desperate and earnest. Oh, it's
Yeah.
good.
I mean, everything he says to Aragorn is right.
Was that whole argument between them like kind of influenced by the ring? Like, was the ring sending out bad jujus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look, Boromir
There you
has
go.
some good ideas.
There you go,
guys.
Bina.
But Boromir is right.
Yeah, until he
Aragorn
tries
is
to take
afraid
the
of
ring.
who he is and is afraid of his destiny. Oh, there we go. Money shot.
Oh.
I used to have those as bookends.
That's cool.
An ex-girlfriend stole them.
Oh, the betrayal.
Stunning. To me, this is just so beautiful. And it puts Boromir in such context that this is what he thinks he's trying to live up to.
Yeah.
The world that was.
Yeah. And can never be again.
Yeah, but how many people had to die to make these things, man?
I
And
think
then
of
it's
the
so-
jobs it created.
It's
The
really
old
lovely at the
Númenóreans
end
did that
when
shit.
Aragorn gets crowned. And then he kind of looks like that, like he's all cleaned up and he's got the beard. And you think, yeah, okay, you now fit into this legacy.
His time, the city was made more fair.
I wonder
than it's ever
if that's like a real pass there, like without the statues, like if that's a real location or if they had to CG that.
It has to be, right?
Falls of Rauros.
Boromir's
Boromir's getting that tweaker look. Like, I got to score.
Hey, just get back in the boat. We'll take the ring. Just me and you, man. We can
Yeah.
travel. We can travel quick. Just
Get
two
up
of us.
Rohan, man. Get up Rohan.
I know the way. Gandalf told me to do this. It's fine.
Hit it between my toes. I don't want anyone to see.
The ring's thinking marshland.
But I'm only bringing it up now because it's...
Something draws near. Can you feel it, Legolas? Can you?
It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, listen, you have magical senses of danger. Why didn't it work in
His
Moria?
spidey sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Spidey sense is tingling.
Forgive me
Even
for not
Aragorn at this
trusting
point
you.
thinking, why didn't I take Glorfindel? Seriously. Oh, Boromir's gone missing.
The scenery here is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just like the autumn leaves and the ruins, they go together thematically so well.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to make all of that. It's crazy.
None of us should wander alone. Such a well-acted scene. I love the way they used the camera perspective just to show how like looming Boromir would be over Frodo.
I'm just here gathering firewood. What do you mean?
Warning.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Only for the strength to defend my people.
It's not really about the firewood.
That's a great line as well. Why do you recoil? I am no thief. Good line to drop into everyday conversation as well. Why do you recoil?
I think you'd worry if that was something you could drop into everyday conversation. If you were like making people recoil on the regular.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that the same thing as like beginning a sentence with "not that I'm racist or anything"? Or,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
I'm no thief, but give me what you have then, so it could be.
But
mine.
see, I mean, if he doesn't put the ring on right here, do they find the party as quickly?
What, the Uruk-hai?
Do they find what?
Yeah.
I don't think the Uruk-hai are sensitive to him putting the ring on, are they? They're not like ring sensitive.
No, I mean, and they're not in communication with Mordor either. So that's what I'm just curious.
No, I think it has to be coincidental, right? But some of these lore masters may know better.
Beginning of the film, Gandalf said that his creatures will be ever drawn to it, so I suppose they would be, but not as much as the Nazgul or anything.
Just in general, they'd kind of maybe they'd have like a Legolas feeling, you know?
Right.
Oh, the ring maybe this way. Like, really, Bob?
Bob the orc always making up shit.
This is a good effect.
Hello. I think Christopher Lee voices Sauron. I like how they try to make it seem like Aragorn's maybe.
Yeah.
This is heartbreaking. Just how like alone Frodo feels he has to be now.
I like how the ring whispers Aragorn.
Yeah, exactly.
So many fingernail issues.
They're on the trail, Matt.
Matt, I would like to see your fingernails. Who are you to speak?
Oh.
Oh, he saw it through the sheath, huh?
That's awkward.
He runs in the opposite direction.
The death of Aragorn.
I like that little salute he does there. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have people over because it was supposed to be nice, and then we canceled because it was supposed to rain. But now it's supposed to be nice for the rest of the day. Goddamn weather.
Here we go.
I think the actor that plays that dude is like some big New Zealand rugby player.
Makes sense.
Yeah, he was in Marco Polo. He played the bodyguard of that Blue Princess gal. And he also plays the Witch King.
Oh, does he?
These are good deep cuts. Yeah.
Who needs a professional DVD commentary when you have us? Do you think anyone will listen to this?
I
mean, a few
The same
people will.
10 people that listen to everything.
Right. The people that didn't make this actual rewatch will listen to it, maybe.
And the thing about this is, like, you don't necessarily have to be like, I'm going to sit down and watch the movie and put on my podcast and watch it as an audio commentary. I don't know if anyone will do that. Maybe. But, I mean, you've seen these movies. You kind of know where we're at as we're talking. So, you know, it works.
Yeah.
Could have done more for, like, for the listener, we are now in the end of the film where the hobbits are being pursued by the Uruk-hai.
But we're not really at the end.
There's
Mike.
about
There's still
4
another
trees in the
half hour yet.
scene,
There's still about
and-
another half hour to go. How much is
No,
left?
we don't have that much time.
How
No,
much is
the
left?
credits are like 15 minutes at least. 15, 20 minutes are just credits.
Oh, thank
Well,
Christ.
it is the ending sequence at Amon Hen, so it's kind of the end.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, like, you know,
I just
Sam
love all
swinging
this-
out to Frodo, and you know, these films are always tough to end.
How
I
did
love
the
all the
orcs
faux
ever win
stonework they
anything?
have everywhere. Like, they've done a lot of that in this whole set. It's just like all this, like, ancient, you know, weathered up fake stone they put everywhere.
Mm.
Like, seriously, like, what, 4 guys take out how many orcs here? Like, how did an orc army ever win anything?
You never
I
played,
think
like,
that's
the hero class in Warcraft?
I feel like there's kind of a disconnect between like how strong and formidable the Uruk-hai look and how effective they are in combat, because in the books they aren't as tall as men, they're smaller than men are. So it's
Yeah.
sort
But
of
they
more
can run
feasible.
under sunlight, right? That's their big
They wilt in the
advantage.
sun a little bit.
Yeah, and they're kind of immune to fear as well. Like in the book, Boromir's
Yeah.
horn kind of drives them away, and they are scared of Aragorn and Boromir as well.
But they have the accuracy of stormtroopers.
Like plate armor, but all the weapons go through them anyway. Kind of that Hollywood armor and weapons stuff.
The Horn of Joramun.
Maybe one day we'll hear that blown too.
The hobbits are actually, like, probably pretty well suited to fighting Uruk-hai, like the way the armors develop. As long as, like not one-on-one, but just, like,
I mean,
actually
they're
being
ta-
able to stab
They're
them.
taking him down with
Get in the
rocks
joints
thrown
and stuff.
I mean,
Oh,
they
here
are
come-
supposed to be like deadly accurate
Here
with
comes
stones,
the boss.
right?
Well, yeah, and hobbits actually, they have their own characteristics. Like, a hobbit can move through the forest completely unheard and unseen. Like, you know, they're not, like, just useless little people. Like, they actually have some special attributes.
It's not like throwing rocks is harmless. Like they do a lot of damage if you throw a rock at someone's head.
I mean, you
Yeah, but-
kill people.
How hard do you think Hobbit can throw a rock?
Hard enough to stop a Uruk-hai at
that's
full
like-
tilt.
If it's a
That's the
tube,
But that's
answer.
like the Hobbits thing. That's like the Hobbits thing. I think they throw stones, like they throw rocks in competition or something. I don't know why I remember this. I just remember that they're supposed to be like really accurate and
look
really
how
good at
big
throwing
these
rocks.
damn arrow shafts are.
I know.
They are thick.
Meaty as hell.
Ooh, girthy.
This is genuinely really upsetting. Even though
Oh,
I know
yeah.
what's going to happen,
Yeah.
it just gets me. And the fact that he just keeps on trying to fight and like redeem himself with his bravery in the end. It's very, very beautiful. And that he does so with this statue behind, like this, like in the
Like
shadow of this
the father.
beautiful, yeah, in the shadow of this legacy that has been so oppressive to him.
The mightiest man may be slain by one arrow, and Boromir was pierced by many.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
They just scoop him up and run off.
Does Pippin say that to Denethor, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah. And then Gandalf immediately tells him to shut the fuck up.
Get up!
This seems, a little bit
A little
overkill.
gratuitous. You're like, why use your bow? You're 2 feet away.
Just chop his head off, man. Come on.
But then
But I
how
mean,
would
like,
you
you know,
get
the other
Aragorn
hobbits act
Boromir
as
scene?
This is a pretty good fight scene. Like, it's got a good flow to it, and it's brutal.
Yeah. It's like Logan Nine Fingers here. He's like, you can never have too many knives.
My own blood.
Berserker mode.
This is where you know these guys are real scary. He's missing an arm and he still pulls the blade to him.
Okay.
They took the little ones.
Poor guy.
Forgive me, I did not see. I failed you all. That's some heavy shit, man.
Yeah, that's some deep internalization, huh?
And it's not his fault. He was
And
just the
Aragorn
first
is
to
so
fall. And it's
yeah,
not
Aragorn is
surprising.
so careful to say that the ring is out of our reach.
I just feel
Aragorn
Boromir
did
was
teach
almost
him
going to be
patience.
the first to fall because he was the one under the most pressure. He's the one in this land that is under attack. So he's the
Yeah,
most
he's been on the
desperate.
front line.
Yeah.
He's the one that needs a weapon.
It's not a
He's seen the
character
need.
flaw, it's just the situation he's in.
He would have been a great friend had he lived.
All right. Stop.
Not a dry eye in the house.
I know.
Oh.
This might be the best scene. I'm not sure. Fourth Earlingus is pretty good, but this is like this has
Yeah,
pathos.
Oh, this
I
isn't better than
always love
Fourth Earlingus, please.
Oh, but look at those fingernails, right, Matt?
They're gross. I just hope that if anyone listens to this ever, they take away that the fingernails in this movie are gross.
Now what to
A
do?
long shot of the ring.
Yeah, because this is the crucial turning point. What does he do? Does he go alone? Does he give up?
Gandalf.
Here you go. This is the speech for the COVID crisis.
Kind of sometimes forget that these movies have like straight up flashbacks in them sometimes. I mean, they kind of seem weird to me, but I don't know.
Emote, Elijah Wood, emote.
Also, put that goddamn chain around your neck. Don't put it in your pocket. You'll lose it.
He's got it on a chain and just keeps putting it in his pocket. Sam this is the best part. Poor guy. Really drowns.
You can't leave without your Samwise.
He's like, well, I'm just going to walk to the bottom of the lake now.
Just fucking love Sam.
The craziest thing is he gets pulled into the boat and he's completely dry.
Is he?
Well, just watch. I think his hair's wet, but like
I'm
his
watching this
clothes are very
beautiful-
visibly dry.
He's like 20 feet away from. No, he's like 50 feet away from that boat, and then we have the beautiful underwater shot of just Sam dying
Yeah.
under the water. Just like, I don't know if we necessarily needed this, but
How far did he sink that a hobbit arm can bring him back up?
like I said, he's just walked to the bottom of the lake.
But the way the music swells makes up for that inconsistency.
So cynical, Peter.
Well, no, that
See,
was
he's
I said that the way the music swells makes up for that inconsistency. That's the opposite of cynical.
Oh, and now it's just his hair that's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They probably shot this scene multiple times.
But at
I
least
don't
the
mean to
cloak is
leave it.
magical, right? So it won't get wet.
Air dry. Hey, orcs nearby, guys. Come on,
Yeah.
hug later.
Focus.
Row now.
Focus. Hi, baby.
This is the nicest bit.
The funeral boat of Boromir.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, they say his body washes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, how?
It was
Went
made
for
by
that
the elves.
waterfall?
Yeah, why didn't they just fall out of the boat?
Just went over the waterfall. I mean, even just his corpse washing up, like, it would be unceremonious.
Was it his
I don't
body or was it the horn? That
It was it was the horn, but
they're firing
Faramir
the
thinks
horn.
he sees it.
Faramir. Yeah, Faramir sees it in a dream, I think.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
he
least in the
sees his body
movie,
in a dream.
it's
Yeah.
in a dream.
I think it's one of the extended scenes from Return of the King.
2 Towers, I think it is.
Okay.
Oh, we thought we were ending on a downer.
But no, because the Fellowship still exists.
Yeah.
And it
Let's
takes
The
go
golden
hunt
tree.
some orc.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite lines as well. Like, we will not abandon Merry and Pippin to torment and death, not while we have strength left. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's a great line.
Let's hunt some orc.
And they're just like, maybe grab
Gimli
some
just
supplies
getting really
first. They're just off.
excited. Yes! Off they scamper.
I mean, Merry and Pippin had to get kidnapped. It gave them a purpose.
Exactly.
And it really, like, they thought that they had the halflings, so they ran off. They probably all would have died there otherwise.
That's what happens when you don't give the whole plan to someone, Rob Stark. Like, just grab the halfling doesn't mean you can't.
Saruman's like, there's more than one halfling? Shit.
Mm.
Ruh-roh.
You think Gandalf knew that and was like, yeah, let Merry and Pippin come along as like extras,
The
like
decoy.
decoys. Like, Gandalf does some shit sometimes, so I wouldn't put that past him.
Like when you have a dog and you want the dog to have a friend, so you get another dog. So like you have Frodo, but then you get some other hobbits to make him feel comfortable for the journey.
No, I was thinking more like
Hobbits are pack animals.
like when you're leaving a bar with a group of people and you have one sober driver that drives like an asshole, so the cops pull over him, and even though he's sober, he can't get drunk driving, but everyone else escapes. Designated decoy. That's what they're called.
There we go.
That was fun, guys. I have to go play with my baby now. I've been ignoring her all day.
Yeah, and she's too cute to ignore.
She sounded so happy just now.
When do you all want to do part 2?
Let me look at my calendar.
Should we do them in like 2 week spaces just to make sure?
Yeah, that'd probably be fine.
Yeah.
I could do next Sunday or the Sunday after that or the Sunday after that or the Saturday after that or the Sunday after that.
Isn't there, when is the Witcher one? Isn't that like in a couple weeks or?
That could be next Sunday, maybe. Or maybe it's the Sunday after.
I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, you know.
Okay.
For the duration of the apocalypse, not a lot going on as far as weekend plans.
Well, apparently people are now going back into lockdown, so it feels like...
Well, that's because people are idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because half the people I work with are all like at the beach, vacationing. You know, it's great.
I feel like I never came out of the lockdown to go back into the lockdown. Like, give me a chance. Oh, dear.
Yeah. I think this last month was kind of our window.
Farewell, Sean Bean and Ian.
Yeah, we're also...
There's been no new reported cases for over a month in my city, so everything's basically back to normal here.
Yeah, and
Wow.
the non-Swedish Nordics are just like on it, right? I mean, you guys are basically good to go. Just
We do things pretty well down here.
as long as you don't let any Brits in, you'll be fine, or Swedes.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So you basically
All right,
moving
guys.
around the economy just as normal then?
They've been opening up like businesses and bars and stuff like that. I think the capital is still kind of iffy, but the city where I live is pretty much clean.
Cool.
Cool.
Well, on that happy note, thank you, listener, if you are still listening, which I doubt. There's now another like 15 minutes of outro, but we don't need to bother with that. You can join us, listener, next week or 2 weeks' time for the Two Towers rewatch.
We're just going to read the credits.
Yeah.
Man. Featuring Voice of the Ring, Alan Howard. That's a great
Hero orcs, goblins, ring wraiths, and cute hobbit children.
Oh,
All right, guys. I got to go. This was fun.
Later.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everyone. Speak to you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, Vina.
Bye.